Good morning. Speam, I can't see you. There you
Yeah,
are.
I'm here.
Hey, everybody. We started a little bit late. Sorry about that. Running StreamYard this morning, doing that for sports and fitness rants, specifically, who isn't going to be here today. So, awesome. Speam,
Subtle, very subtle.
say hello to our chat. It's so wonderful to see people waiting patiently for us and being here to greet us when we come on live on a Sunday morning.
Yes, hello. What's that you ask? This is the Air Jordan 12 Cherry and the Air Jordan 1 Splatter.
Yeah.
Size 12 respectively, both for sale. Thank you for asking. Go ahead.
You're selling these?
Always.
Okay.
Always.
I didn't know you were using the show to sell shoes, but I guess if you have how are you selling these?
Well, this isn't the platform for that. Just know that I'm selling. We can talk about that.
Speaking of the platform for this, I asked you to greet the people in the comments, not talk about your shoes.
Okay. All right. We're back to this. Hello, everybody. Thank you. Oh, I appreciate all the new follows. It's a shame Robin's not here because I feel like he gets the people going and they really get fired up in the chat. So that will be missed.
We don't have our usual morning cup of coffee in Robin, so I'm going to have to do a bump. Excuse me. Now, I've got a video coming out that proves with beyond a reasonable doubt that LeBron James is picking and choosing which games to miss. And what's added interest to that is not just his cowardice, but how well his teammates do in his absence and how many times the Lakers unexpectedly have beaten good teams. And last night, LeBron, with his strategy, he kept getting reevaluated a little bit as he got closer to that Bulls game, comes back thinking, hey, here's an easy opportunity. Doesn't work out. Once again, LeBron James destroys the chemistry of the team. And I just want to say how sad it is that we can predict LeBron's behavior and be so confident in it that we can put money on it. Like knowing exactly when he's going to come back or exactly which games he's specifically going to miss. Ivan says, is Zay joining? Yes, if he wakes up. Sunday mornings are tough for Zay, but we are looking forward to him joining and Hoops God.
And that's because Zay works his ass off, by the way, not because he's lazy or anything like that.
No,
he works it just to clarify.
Right. Unlike Speam Engine, who has no excuse for his tardiness. And
I've been on time the last 3 weeks, and I've been your most consistent person. So,
credit where credit is due. And speaking of credit where credit is due, Zay was giving Braun Jr. some credit, so we're going to ask Zay about that. And LeBron James last night, I hear, was as good as Bronny. That's how good of a game LeBron James had. LeBron equated to Bronny's big night of 17 points and a negative 27.
Didn't Luka have over 30 in that game?
Luka?
Yeah. I feel like he had 32. And nobody's really talking about that because he's so, he's so out of shape and he's having so much difficulty working himself into the system. But yeah, he put up, if I remember correctly, another 30-point game. So it's clearly all his fault.
Well, Luka, welcome to the world of LeBron James. Your career is effectively over. Unless LeBron actually retires in the next few years and gives Luka time to do well. But Luka comes over. Lakers do pretty well when he's in there. But Luka's putting up pretty crazy numbers, and the talk continues to be about LeBron James. I was listening to Uncut Hoops. I mean, not Uncut, Uncommon Sense, reading an article that actually gave LeBron James credit. And I predicted this shit last week. Remember when LeBron James sat out against the Celtics last year and they said, oh, well, LeBron was motivating his team in other ways, and that's why they won. And this time they said it was LeBron James randomly waving his hands around on the bench that caused the Lakers to win against the Nuggets.
Well, to be fair, I don't know how much of a historian you are, but you do forget that he's also responsible for the Cavaliers' current success.
Right.
So
yes.
I'm not sure why you're. I don't know what your deal is. I mean, he's responsible for the Cavs. He's so great. The Cavs winning now is because of his time in 2016. So yeah. I mean,
it's not surprising. It's just painfully predictable. But I had to mention it. I mean, it's amazing. And you know what? Apparently, the Lakers needed LeBron James to be on the bench waving his arms again in order to have that continued success. Because LeBron James being on the court led to not just a loss, but a monstrous blowout. Just a strangely monstrous blowout.
If you go back and watch the post-game presser from that, the majority of the questions were centered around how his groin is, which, I mean, that's how most Bron fans feel like anyways. They're more worried about his groin than anything else. And that's whether it's hurt or not. They spent more time focusing on that than the fact that they got absolutely blown out when just 2 weeks ago, these rankings were so close. They were in second place. They were tied for sixth in the loss column, blah, 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 in the Western Conference. But they lose what to me seems like a pretty important game. And nobody's really talking about that. They're just talking about Bronny, 17 points, which, sure, that's impressive. And I did a video about this the other day, but, I mean, I saw more clips of him crossing Giannis over and turning the ball over than I've seen of any of Luka's 30-point games, any of Austin Reeves' 30-point games, anything like that.
So Renee says that she just became a subscriber to your channel. Congratulations to that.
Thank you, Renee. Shout out to Renee. Appreciate you.
Renee, always nice to see you here. Thanks for being so consistent. Let's shout out a couple of other people that are in the chat early.
Yeah, let me look in the chat.
Still looking for Zay to join.
They said we're going to be low energy, so I didn't get an opportunity to take the medicine I wanted to take during the opening. So if I can skirt away for a minute or two, I'll lighten the mood, I guess.
Well, I think we'll show the clips that you put together. You want to, and we have a special guest joining later who has a little presentation to provide for us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and Uncut is here. By the way, I know people want. I know people would like to see Jim from Self-Researched NBA Facts on here. I emailed him again, messaged him on his page. Jim, you have been contacted. Can't get you on the show if you don't respond.
So what thing with Sports Tea, real quick. I've been trying to reach out to Sports Tea as well.
Oh, you've been trying to? Does that mean you reach for the keyboard and you don't make it, or you actually did? So you reached out and she's ignoring you, is what you're saying?
No, I don't have to explain myself to you. Let's just move past it.
Yeah, it'd be good to have a Uncut. Come on, where is someone says Uncut?
Good to have another female on here.
Oh, there he is. Bronny James has scored 17 twice professionally. He was -36 and -37 in those games. Stop hating.
Right.
Stop hating. Can't you just celebrate someone being incredible?
He's just a kid. You know what a good podcast would be, and I'd love to see the responses on this, is just to see how, and it would be sarcastic, of course, but just to see how long you can keep something up like that conversation. He's just a kid. Don't count their pockets. That was a hard fight. Be as pro LeBron as you can for as long as you can. And I don't think I could last more than, if I'm being honest with myself, maybe 15 to 20 seconds. And I'm saying maybe even less for you.
Probably. What's Goatcast Hoops have to say? Yeah. I don't know. The NBA is such a joke.
Well, peep this. I put this in my last video. They House of Hoops or House of Highlights, my bad, because I keep trying to tear them down because they're pathetic. One of the clips was Bronny James, quote unquote, asserting himself by deciding to take a technical free throw line while Gabe Vincent was walking to the line. And they were like, this is just Bronny asserting his dominance. And I thought to myself, this is A, is this what we're calling dominance? And B, no, it's LeBron James' son getting preferential treatment. There's no dominance involved. This is where things are. This is how we're defining things.
Who was walking up to take the shot?
Gabe Vincent.
And Bronny pulled up in front of him.
Not in front of him. Bronny was walking to the free throw line as Gabe Vincent was coming off of the sidelines to come take the free throw. But the announcer said, this is just an example of Bronny asserting his dominance. I said, man, oh man, if you guys could just stop letting LeBron assert his dominance into your mouths, maybe we could listen to a game, you know.
Self-research says, been trying to get my actual email to you to join the panel. Hey, man, I wrote to the one that you have listed for your PayPal. I have the one that you have listed on your channel's email. I mean, you must check those once in a blue moon, right?
That's how I got to you. What's your clip about? What's your footage about? Because I can explain mine. What's yours?
Oh, well, before we move on from Bronny, how about House of Highlights putting up a poll asking if Bronny isn't the best 55th pick ever?
You know what's funny about that is when you first sent that to me, I thought it said option 1, yes, and then option 2, yes. I seriously, no, because I thought that's why you were sending it like a joke or something like that. But it might as well be option 1, yes, option 2, yes. You know, again, this is a post in 2025 after a 17-point game, which again, not hating. I'm not a hater. I love kids. I love young black youth. I love success. 17 points in the grand scheme of things. If anybody else did that, if Dalton Connect did that right now, it wouldn't be a story. And he doesn't even want to be in a Lakers uniform.
All right, I'm going to try and pull up the clips that you sent me using StreamYard.
Mm-hmm. It's not great. It's not superb editing, but I did want to get the point across. I'm going to start putting my Cash App in here until I get monetized. I think.
Frustrating to play this team because they foul a ton. You know, they really do. They foul.
Okay, so before you go, can I just explain what this is real quick? All right, so this is that presser from when they were getting on SGA about his foul baiting. And I thought to myself, if this was a story enough for ESPN to touch, for dumb Kendrick Perkins and Shannon Sharp to speak about, I said, all right, well, let me just kind of switch some perspectives around. So this is that Tatum clip and a couple other just kind of flops over that, and just kind of watch. Okay. Go ahead, my bad.
And then, you know, you can't really touch Shea.
We deserve a level of respect because we're competing our tails off and bringing something positive to this league, right? We're growing young players. Our young players
has to make his move. Drives, got tripped. And it pulls back. Mobley stays in front of him. Boy, that's some good. Oh, they call a foul on Mobley. Nobody likes to call in this building.
And look, for me, watch, he brings his right arm up. So is that a natural shooting motion? No. But he was just trying to bait him in the foul. Once he gets that hand in there, you think of James Harden. You think of those players.
Two young studs in the association. And the crowd going.
I mean, that is such a flop. That wasn't even the good angle.
My bad. I just wanted to get the point out about Richard Jefferson. He's a pro LeBron guy, right? Everybody knows that. Does LeBron not do basically the same thing on every play? Or just about every Laker?
LeBron actually extends all the way with his arm.
Right. But you never hear Richard Jefferson speak of it like that. Ever. Not once. But listen to how listen to how much he objected SGA's take. Go ahead. I just wanted to point that out. So, I mean, so far.
Do you want to say what people should be looking for, or just let them figure it out on their own?
Oh, no, I'll throw it out there. Just that you have these same consistent comments from like Richard Jefferson or Kendrick Perkins or pro LeBron guys that talk about quote unquote foul baiting. But in the first 10 seconds of this clip, you see Luka flop in one of the most embarrassing flops I've ever seen until I saw that Jason Tatum flop. So you're just seeing how the media is painting it one way. And the reason I'm bringing this up now is because SGA is going to be an MVP candidate this year. Anybody that doesn't want him to be MVP is going to bring up this foul baiting thing. They're going to bring up how because he does do it. He does flop, but how can you sit there and call him out, but not Luka or LeBron or Austin Reeves? And there's a statistic I have on here in reference to how many free throws each of those individuals have taken. But keep going.
Okay, keep going.
In this case, might have got away with a little shove first.
Westbrook here pursuing, and this is why Shea so tough. Look at the stop, and Westbrook is trying to contend that Shea Gilgeous-Alexander stopped and then actually leaned back to his right, which is the direct.
They're competing their tail off.
Okay, so look.
The least that they could do.
They call a foul on Mo.
Sorry.
Okay, so pause it real quick. It's okay. The other thing that frustrates me is you have these coaches at the pressers, at the post-game conferences being so irate against OKC and SGA. I never hear a coach talk about the Lakers, with the exception of was that Dark Milicic, right? The complete crap guy. It's a complete crap. He's the only coach I've ever heard openly say, like, no, this is crap. The Lakers are getting away with it. So how can they so openly object SGA and the Thunder, but not the Lakers, unless, of course, the Lakers are a protected team? I mean, this is like as clear cut as you can be. But keep going. I'm sorry. And please fill in if you have any different opinions.
SGA leave the arena. So many of them. We recently just saw Coach Finch crying and complaining. This is years of work that SGA has put in. This just
what the fuck is he talking about?
Forget, 2 seasons ago, SGA wasn't getting these calls. 2 seasons ago is when it all started. You earned the respect of the officials. They so physical. They play physical without fouling. They started playing this way since the start of.
You know, I did hear Kendrick Perkins say that this week. I hate that he is basically telling people that you can earn the right to cheat.
Yeah,
that is not a goal for people to set for themselves. I understand that stars get some help from the refs, but that's different than saying, hey, hard work got me to where the refs are going to give me the benefit of the doubt. No, this hard work is actually practicing foul baiting. Like the guys in the past that got some preferential treatment, they were playing basketball. You know, they were playing hard and they were playing basketball. And if there was a doubt, sometimes the tie goes to the star, right? Tie goes to the runner. Tie goes to the star in this case. These guys, the hard work Kendrick Perkins is talking about is practicing non-basketball plays, practicing non-basketball moves.
Cheating.
Well,
Cheating.
That's what I call it.
You flat out said it right. And you phrased it perfectly. I think, you know, when everybody says, well, Jordan had the refs on his side. I'm not sitting here and saying Jordan never flopped or never sold a call. But like you said, he earned the right to get the benefit of the doubt when he's working hard and making basketball plays. If he went down the court and went for a dunk and threw himself into the stands and some fan poured beer on him and he acted like he was hurt, but he secretly liked it because he's into that shit, then I would say something. But that's not the case. He was rewarded for his hard work, not his ability to sell a call.
All right. I'll play some more of your video.
I don't even remember what the rest is on here.
This is how they play. Again, you cannot sit up here and say, oh, this just happened overnight. No, They've been doing this for the past 2 to 3 seasons.
Look
they
at this
earned
bullshit,
the
AOH.
right to get the respect from the officials. Lift your camera.
I forgot to turn the music down on that. That's my bad. I forgot to turn the volume down on that one. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning when I was working on this.
All right, I'm not going to show any more of it then.
Well, no, you can turn the volume down because there was a couple other flops I wanted to bring up. But that the point is me putting those clips over that soundbite looks exactly the same. So why is nobody talking about it other than the Lakers are protected?
And what do we say that we want? What do we old heads want? Consistency. Thank you. If you're going to pretend that this is now part of the game, then so be it. Although I don't really want to concede to that because it's not a very attractive part of the game, but you still got to call it, fair across the board. And it's not just the refs who don't call it fair. It's like, as you're pointing out, you don't ever hear Perkins or these guys do a highlight reel of all the shit that LeBron James has gotten away with.
Mm-mm. Well, later on in that clip, there's how many free throws SGA is taken, how many free throws LeBron's taken, Austin Reeves, and Luka. So SGA is, I think, number 1 or number 2, right? But Luka, Austin Reeves, and LeBron are all kind of grouped together. The crazy thing is Austin Reeves has almost taken he's taken more than half as many free throws as the SGA, which in a vacuum doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But when you look at both of their usage rates and time they play, Austin Reeves has no business taking half as many free throws as SGA. And he's almost taken as many as LeBron. So when you, and Luka, I mean, you could talk for years about how he flops. But when you look at the imbalances, yeah, it's really easy to say SGA leads the league in free throws, but the Lakers still have 2, if I remember correctly, top 35 players in the league in free throw attempts. 2 of them actually all 3 of them not really deserving that many attempts to begin with. So that's something that people really don't talk about.
So Jim from Self-Researched reached out to me. I sent him the call-in link. We might have him join in. And Zay will be joining us shortly. He says he was up until 7 a.m. working on a new belt to ass. I'm going to go to his channel and see if that's up yet. I don't know if you can tell, but I've disassembled my studio, so that's why I'm hand holding today.
It looks the same to me.
Okay.
I saw you highlight that one. Kendrick Perkins is he's a DEI hire, I think. I think if you put
DEI,
I do. I think that if you put, I'm being realistic with myself here. I think if you put a small child's reading book in front of him, I do think that there would be challenges. I'm not exaggerating at all. Shannon Sharp, he's been acting real chatty Cathy lately and real, I guess kind of spicy is the right word, because even when he was talking about this subject, his mannerisms were just frustrating to watch. So that whole camp is compromised.
Kendrick Perkins is a short bus rider. Yeah. Let's play some more of your clips here.
Okay.
I turned the sound off.
Down. Yeah, thank you. Well, you can turn it up now, obviously. Obviously, everything's working fine.
Send me something properly edited.
I told you. It was like 4. Okay, there. I was pointing out the numbers there.
This is why they're so
Can they
great.
get them all?
But no, man, listen. I'm talking about.
Do you remember the Bible? Perk, you go to church, Perk. You go to church.
This is the other thing. They go. No, listen to me. This is. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm so scatterbrained.
He's gonna praise you. You give him everything. Remove the hedge and he'll cut his berry maker. If they started getting fouls called against them, of course they're gonna complain. Stop playing with me, Perk.
Shannon, I did go to church. I was the world's tallest altar boy.
So you know the story of Job.
I know.
So what did he say?
I know.
What did the Lord tell?
A lot of people. A lot of church
This is
stories.
what it's been reduced to. This is what sports talk is. Like, I may come up here and ramble and talk into a shoe and sometimes be higher than I should be, but I'm not going to sit up here and just spew the Bible because I have nothing else to talk about. This is embarrassing. Just as a media presence from both of them, and then it just turns into a shouting match.
The devil. He said you could do everything but take his life. He took his kids, he took his sheep, he took his livestock. What did he do? Even his wife said, why don't you curse this man and get out of this misery?
What the hell is he talking about?
If I had never watched this show before, I would have no idea what they were talking about. I mean, I do watch this show and I have no idea what they're talking about. But the other thing is if you look at Stephen A on the side, I'm noticing he's starting to make more animated facial expressions. And that clip that you sent me this morning, I do think he's making a political push. It's going to be sad if he does it, but he's starting to do that thing. And I brought this up in my last video, that like creating a viral moment thing where you do or make a stupid face or do a stupid dance to make yourself, the moment for that time. I think he's starting to make these dumb faces and point and talk about, his little sayings and mannerisms to make himself more what's the word I'm looking for? More visible. So if you look off to Stephen A on the side, if you can tell, he's going to make the dumbest expressions through the rest of this segment or however long I have it.
Okay. And you're saying this, it's like a part of their no press is bad press. Like they're going to use, turn it into GIFs and stuff of Stephen A making faces.
Yeah, well, it's like when Austin Reeves had that. He had a nice crossover the other day, but LeBron and Bronny were on the sideline dancing and celebrating, and it was real specific, real calculated. So, yeah, to answer your question, yes, I think it's more of that.
All right, so I'm going to continue playing your clip.
Please, I don't remember what's on here.
Okay.
Is he not God and good and in bad?
Hold on, time out. Let me ask you a question then. You a Hall of Famer, right? So when you were on the football field, didn't you have a different type of relationships with the officials than a role player may have had?
We played the Raiders. The play before I caught the touchdown that really broke the game open, I went to the back judge, and I told him Marquez Pope had held me. Marquez Pope heard me tell him that. And on the next play, he was in position, but he pulled his hand back because he thought he was going to get a foul. He was going to get a penalty.
So you was crying too.
You was crying too. Put that bug in his mouth.
There it is. There's the expressions. There they are.
You was crying too.
All the way to the end zone.
Look, doesn't it look like his face doesn't have bones? Or like it's like made out of like the same material as socks? I can't stand Stephen A. Smith lately. Because everything, I mean, he's always been performative. But ever since the whole thing with him and who was the co-host they said was more black than he was, but he was white. Because like every other thing, it became a race thing with Stephen A. But since that dude, I forget his name, he's been questionable.
Max. You're talking about Max Kellerman.
Max Kellerman. Yeah, thank you. Ever since Max Kellerman, Stephen A. has been going hard in the wrong way.
We've got 93 Zay in the house.
Zay,
welcome to the show.
Yo, good morning, fanboys! 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 Oh my God. You so lucky I was asleep. Oh my God, fanboys. Welcome to the barbecue, the Sunday barbecue, the cookout. Hello. I hope you slept well. I barely slept at all, just to let you know. But how y'all doing this morning, fellas?
I'm checking your channel to see if the video you're working on has dropped yet. I don't see it yet.
No, I still got like another hour left. Man, this is so funny. LaForty James should be ashamed of himself for what he did last night. Oh my God, he should be ashamed. Oh my God. No, go ahead. I want to continue. I want to button away.
No, sorry. I'm just trying to figure out this StreamYard interface, and I see James tried to come on, but it says device not connected. Disconnect whatever you tried to do. That's self-research NBA facts. Jim, disconnect whatever you tried to do and then try again. And we'll come back to it. But man, how do you How do you survive 5 turnovers from one person? I can't stand that they don't talk about LeBron James's turnovers.
17 points, 16 shots. My God, you.
But Zay, weren't you just praising Bronny for 17 points? I'm pretty sure I saw that.
You know what? I was trying to get a young fella some encouragement. You know, I'm like, man, I beat his back in all fucking winter. I'm like, man, good job, Bronny. You scored 17. I mean, did we really think Bronny and Dalton Connect were gonna beat the Milwaukee Bucks? Did we really think that? Like, come on, you know what I mean? So I was trying to look at it from a positive aspect, even though he was minus 36. Like, I
couldn't tell. Right. As your video was starting, I couldn't tell if you were being sarcastic because the first clip is him jumping over somebody and landing on him on defense.
Oh, like, damn, Bronny, you trying to end careers already?
Well, here, let me ask you a question. Because, like I said, House of Highlights blew up that whole clip about him crossing up Giannis. And he did get him. But, like, at its very core, and maybe I'm, reaching here, it's a guard with a big man on him. If you remove the names, is this still a big deal? Especially since he turned the ball over.
And I wanted to see what Giannis was going to do when he went up for the layup, because I think that shit was going into the 10th row, if we being honest.
Right.
Giannis kind of let him like, yeah, go ahead. Yes.
He sagged off a little bit.
And then somebody got in the way. Somebody fucked it up for Giannis.
Yeah, fucked it up.
So I was just thinking, like, that's a highlight. Like, that's just like the Ja Morant, missed dunk on whoever highlight. Again, nothing happened other than a turnover. And shout out to AC24. He did mention something about there potentially being a foul in the post-game press conference. So I mentioned this in my last video as well. I'm not saying Bronny's like his dad now, but like I can imagine him starting to make that heel turn within the next, maybe even before the playoffs.
I just kind of like that he was driving to the rim. It was a move he did where he drove to the rim, went up with the right, but switched hands to the left and did a nice little layup. And I was like, man, that's nice, Bronny. That's an NBA move. You know what I mean? It was just certain moves that I seen from him. I was like, okay, Bronny, I see you've been working on something. But then he came into the game last night and fucked it up. Bronny, what the fuck were you doing last night?
So Bronny last night was 0 for 4. He played about 7 minutes, 0 rebounds, 0 everything else. -8. He had a turnover. I left out the turnover.
Oh my God, Bronny, you fucked it up, bro. I had some hope for you, and look how you repaid me.
It was nice of you. It was nice of you to support the young man.
Yeah, people were killing me in the comments like, Z is compromised. Zay compromised. He signed the clutch. I'm like, damn. I can't give him a slight bit of encouragement. Like, it's not his fault that his daddy put this much pressure on him, man. We really got to think about that. Like, he's a good kid at heart, you know? Am I wrong? He seemed like a good kid.
I'm trying to, you know what? My silence is more like I'm trying to see if I 100% agree with you because I want to. Like, yeah, I'm like 99.5% there. Yeah, I'm 100% there. I'm gonna ride with you that he's a good kid for now. But I'm like I said, I'm starting to see tendencies.
The only thing we've seen Bronny do is he was smoking on Instagram when they had put that photo up of him smoking.
I'm not gonna be a hypocrite. I mean, he's allowed to do what he wants there. I feel like.
Yeah, like
let the kid live. Let the kid live.
He's not Marcus Jordan.
Right. It's not like he's doing that and then getting in some car and speeding by.
He getting caught doing booger sugar, man. So, you know, you can't get too mad at the kid. But But still, Brian,
do they say that same thing about? But as you say that though, how old is buddy off the T-Wolves? Anthony, what's his face?
Edwards?
How old is Anthony Edwards?
I think he's 25, ain't he? Or
25. And how old?
No, he might be 23.
I think it's
how old is
23.
Bronny James?
22.
So you know what's interesting about that is you hear a lot of people saying Bronny's a good
He's
kid,
23.
right? But how many people do you see giving Ant Edwards that same like kind of grace? I mean, now granted, he knocks up like every third female he meets, but I don't see him getting that same kind of grace. He's just a kid, let him mess up.
I mean, we did when he first came into the league. You know, you're 23 now. You know what I mean? So, you know, I had to kick his back end about getting that old ass woman pregnant because you shouldn't be getting a 38-year-old woman pregnant.
Right. Yeah.
How do you allow a 38-year-old woman to steal your nut, man? To steal your kids from you? This is alarming. That's a problem. That's a lack of leadership around him. That's a lack of guidance around him. That's the difference. Bronny got all the fucking guidance in the world around him. He got NBA players around him. He got Chris Paul as his stepdad. I mean, granddaddy. No, not granddaddy, but what's the term I'm looking for?
No, what's his face is his granddad.
He's his godfather. You know what I mean? He's got
what's his face is his granddad, buddy, that was got kicked out the league.
Why is Bronny so old? Like, how much time did he spend in college? Not even 2 seasons.
One season there.
Well, then how is he 23 as
No,
a
he's
rookie?
20.
Someone said he's 20.
Oh, I thought you said he was 23.
No, that's Anthony Edwards. That's 23.
Oh, okay.
Ronnie's 20. He's 20. So, you know, he can't even go to the store and buy liquor yet, man. So, you know.
Jolly Joshams with our first super chat of the day. 17 is 1 point more than Pippen averaged. And he is a Hall of Famer who allegedly carried Jordan to 6 rings. We have a case for Bronny being the GOAT. Good point. Good point. My bad.
That sounds real to me. That's a legit argument as far as I'm concerned. Who the Lakers just released 2 players too.
I was just asking because Wood has been injured for so long, and they waived him. But are they going to bring him back? I feel like the Lakers are allowed to do anything. Oh, and we got Jim. Jim, you're sideways.
Alex Lynn and Cam Reddish. Thank you, Import. The 2 guys the Lakers just waived.
Who?
Alex Lynn and Cam Reddish. Isn't Alex Lynn's like 7 feet tall, isn't he?
He is.
So aren't they always complaining about missing a big man?
Yeah, they have 3 7-footers, a 6'11", and 6'10". Yeah, no, it's all BS.
They must know Jackson Hayes is going to beat his abuse case, so they got rid of Alex Lynn. They kept Alex Lynn just in case.
Hey, Jim, or your screen name is James. What are we going to call you today?
It's Jim.
What up, Jim?
Right. Are you able to rotate your camera so people aren't confused that you're not in the space shuttle? Speaking of turnovers, self-researched NBA Facts came out with a lot of good ones this week, and one of them was talking about turnovers, and we're going to ask him about it when he comes back. I guess rotating the camera disconnected the camera, and he's back.
There we go. How's that?
It's great.
Better. Okay, good.
Hey, you know what? Let me interview you. Hey, welcome to the show, by the way, and congratulations on the evolution of your setup.
Yeah, thanks, man.
And you're even adding footage to your videos now, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of people, including you, was saying that it was probably needed a nice another touch to it, so that's part of the reason. Plus, it's good to have a visual to explain what you're saying and all that. So, yeah, it's good. My wife, you know, finally got involved, and that's all I needed was her to get involved in it. So, it's been great, you know, absolutely. So, I wanted to touch on one thing, if I can, real quick. You guys were talking about the turnovers. I just did a video yesterday, and In the playoffs, LeBron James has 6 or more turnover games than basically anybody you're going to look up. Magic Johnson, he's the same as Russell Westbrook. So he's so careless with the ball. But you know better than anybody, AOH. Imagine if they called it straight up, all the violations that he does. You know, he would have just a tremendous amount more. And they just let him get away with murder. That's just how it is. And the media covers for him time and time again. It's just the same old playbook. It's a joke.
I did, when they were massacring Westbrook, I did videos showing that LeBron James looked at least as bad as Westbrook. And that was during the time that Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless would just take turns crapping all over Westbrook. And Skip Bayless was such a coward about the whole thing. And every now and then he would say, oh, look, LeBron looks Westbrookian. And that was the put down to say that someone looked like Westbrook. It was a very disrespectful period of time, but they were having the same number of turnovers, and LeBron was like shooting off the side of the backboard. But your video was important because you made a very strong case about why you can't just say, hey, somebody played for a really long period of time, therefore you have to expect them to have a lot of turnovers. Walk us through how you explained that LeBron's turnovers are different. It's not just you have to expect it to come with the territory.
Well, because it went by percentage. And what I did was I just went by bad games. And this guy had over 5 turnovers, 6 or more, 18.8% of all playoff games he ever played. That's the same as Westbrook, more than Harden, more than Magic, way more than Jordan. Jordan's like 10%. So this guy's double what Jordan is. And the usage rate, Jordan, 13 of his 15 years is at 30% or higher, even had a couple 40% in there. LeBron's not even close to that. So again, this all comes down to the numbers. There's just no denying it. And then when you factor in how much cover that the league and the media has given LeBron, it could have been so much worse. They kill Westbrook for it, but he's the exact same, 18.8%, all playoff games, 6 or more turnovers. I mean, it's all the numbers. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
Nice to meet you, Jim. Real quick, what's even crazier is the fact that Russell Westbrook averaged. He kind of started the whole average a triple double thing consistently. What was it, 3 seasons in a row? And now people say he's weak or he's not a great. He padded his stats, but he, as far as I'm concerned, didn't do anything different than what LeBron does now. And if anything, I think his seem to have more in-game impact than what LeBron does.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Absolutely. And this guy's been to the finals all these times and all this stuff. So it's even more impactful when he does it. But they somehow only give credit to the good stuff, and they just disregard like it didn't even happen. They won't even bring it up. That's what's crazy to me. No matter what kind of game he has. I remember he had a 2 for 18 game against Boston. I think it was like 08 or 09. Barely mentioned it. It was just like, oh yeah, LeBron had a bad game. Like he had a historic bad game. 2 for 18 with like 12 turnovers. It was a joke. His game score was negative. I mean, you know what I mean? But nope, not going to mention it. They had their mind made up years ago. This was going to be the guy, not Kobe. It was going to be LeBron. And I just called bullshit on it years ago. And it's just par for the course and more of the same. Just years later. And they'll never mention the steroid thing, the PED allegations. To them, it's just unfounded. No matter if it's trainer, his wife. I mean, it could be his son. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? They're never going to just say like, yeah, I think this guy might be on PEDs. It's so obvious, but they'll never talk about it. That's the way it is.
Not or instead of acknowledging it, though, I see some of them claiming that Jordan was on steroids. I'm like, oh my God. So they just always find a way to justify LeBron doing something bad instead of facing the fact that he is doing questionable things. And Michael Jordan on steroids, I don't think so.
No, I don't either.
I mean, do people who do steroids smoke cigars and drink whiskey? And I mean, maybe they do. I don't know. But I think everybody knows that he was a different type of human being that didn't require sleep. So
yeah, he was different. I mean, just look at LeBron's head. His head alone should tell you that he is on steroids.
Yep.
I'm starting to think Luka's on still. He shoved the ref last night. Did y'all see him shove the ref?
You're shitting me.
He shoved Josh Giddey.
Yeah.
He got teed up for shoving Josh Giddey. We need to every week. We need to keep that hashtag shave that beard up, because since that dude brought up that theory that his beard is to cover up those steroid boils and scars and stuff. I could see it. So hashtag make LeBron shave that beard. I want to see if his jaw looked like D Wade's jaw when he was in Miami, and everybody said he wasn't on steroids either.
My sports science video, I made the joke about how he added a couple of 3 inches to his face to create contact with the defender. But as I was making it, I'm looking at it and I'm like, wait a minute, that is about 3 inches.
That's how Jason Tatum hit him so hard. All those nerve endings in his new jaw beard situation.
I mean, look, I'm a little older than you guys, but you could see the explosiveness in Michael Jordan was just like nothing you'd ever. Him and Dominique Wilkins were just freak athletes. But when he came back from playing baseball, you could see the decline. You know, it was just a little bit, but by 98, it was obvious. I mean, his game was incredible, but his athleticism, there was a clear decline. With LeBron, barely, and he's 40 years old. I mean, I never seen anything like it. I mean, barely. You go back and watch him from like 2008, it's not much difference. It really isn't. It's obvious.
Yeah, no. But he can't possibly be. I mean, you know, fanboys talk about 2018 LeBron being a different beast and things like that, and or let's go back to the Miami years. I mean, how can if we have a fanboy call-in segment today, I just want to ask them if they think that LeBron James right now is better than he was back then, because his numbers are as good or better. I mean, do you honestly think that he is a better basketball player now, or is this not an indication of how bad the game has become?
No, he's not better. And the one thing that steroids won't do for him is stamina. That's the one thing he's going to struggle with at that age. He's not going to be able to do it for 40 minutes a game. There's just no way. But it's obvious that this guy's on something. You look at any player, Karl Malone, Kevin Garnett, anybody who was playing at least a decent level, 38, 39, Tim Duncan, nowhere near the player they were 10 years before. But this guy is pretty close to the same. I mean, yeah, there's a little decline, but not much. Not like obvious, like any other player you've ever seen.
In moments.
So obvious.
In moments. You brought up a great point. It's in moments. You don't see him run up and down the court. You see him kind of hang out at the perimeter waiting for people to forget that he's there, and then he'll do a burst and go dunk.
Yep. Yeah. Right. The stamina. He picks his spots. That's why he just doesn't play defense, because it's not going to do anything for him. He doesn't care about blocks and steals, but he does care about rebounds, assists, and points. So it's all his focus is on the offensive end, period. I mean, you'll see it even in the playoffs. You know, he can't help himself. That's just what he does.
Zay, I know you stayed up all night. If you need to go nap, that's fine. Let us know.
I'm good.
Tell us.
Like 10:30.
Somebody's got some banging going on. Okay, there we go. Zay, tell us what to look forward to with your next belt to ass video.
Oh, this one's going to get real spooky for fanboys. I got a special guest for this one. They're going to call me Zay Kruger on this one because, you know, I'm coming to get you, bitch. You know what I mean? Look, fanboys, I got to tell y'all straight up, this is not good for you. Please, for your mental health, call 988 before you click on my video because it is barbecue time. It is buffalo wing time. It is bull time. I couldn't believe the baby bulls. Are you serious? You let Matas score 31 points. Oh my, and he dunked on Luke. Oh my God. Dunked all over Luka. Knock it off, fanboys.
Somebody said that Josh nearly had a quadruple double.
Yeah, Josh Giddey almost had he had 8 steals.
Oh my God.
He had 8 steals.
Those Josh Giddey numbers underage jokes just write themselves.
He was stealing cookies last night. He was, man. I was like, bro, if they let him get a quadruple double, fanboys just.
Hey guys, I'm gonna welcome a guest to the show who has done some research, and Mczuggins, I'm about to bring you in, and let's test your audio. Are you there?
Hello, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Now you've done a lot of research. Who's got the knocking going on? Is that somebody's nervous foot going? Every time I say it, you stop.
No, that was my dog. Don't worry. I disciplined her. She's good.
Mczuggins, give us the concise overview of what you're going to tell us about today, because I'm sure we're all going to have questions, and with the questions, you'll be able to elaborate and share the extensive research that you've done. This has to do with a targeted load managing, if I understand correctly.
Yes, sir. So first, hey everyone, how's it going? Zay, what's up? Speem,
what up? What up?
Jim over there.
Good? What's good?
Love all the content. Thank you very much for all of it. But yeah, I'll get right to it. So we all know that I think is beyond dispute at this point that the NBA is doing, the load management stuff. We've been talking about it for more than a decade, right? I think that's beyond. But what I was curious about, which y'all actually got me curious about, joking around about it, was I wanted to see if I could take a look at how they select the games. How do they choose how to manage it, how to avoid scrutiny? Like, there's got to be a pattern. You act like it's random, but we all know that it's deliberate. So there's got to be a pattern. So anyway, I started kind of poking around. What started it was y'all talking about, actually it was AOH and Zay talking about how, we know it's March. We know he always misses in March. So I wanted to go back and see, like, does he always miss in March? Is that a thing?
Yep.
And then down the rabbit hole we went. So anyway, I'll just make it real clear. First, a couple little caveats. Number one, all of these logs are public. I'm not claiming any inside info or anything. Y'all can go look this up. I suggest Land of Basketball. They have every game, every season, all the way back. So, take that. But so what I figured out is the system seems to work this way. And y'all can ask me about whatever patterns, whatever section you want, but it specifically and systematically targets back-to-backs. This is looking at LeBron's games, 12 years, 3 teams. It always targets back-to-backs. It shifts following the crackdowns.
Wait, how many years?
12. This is 12 complete seasons from 2012 to 2024.
He has been avoiding back-to-backs for 12 years?
So it's actually sneakier than that. It's the way the games are chosen. So he misses 8. If we forget about, which I'll get to later, we'll forget about the so-called Iron Man seasons. It's right around 18.9% every season, 12 years, no matter how old he gets. It's right around 18.9 every time. And it's almost always, it's like 90, I have the number here, we can go down to it, but it's like 90 something, 93%. The second game of back-to-backs is the most interesting one to me, because it actually shifts. I can get into it when you want, but it actually shifts what type of back-to-back series it is as soon as they put the rest rules in, and then it refines further when they start cracking down a couple years ago. So it's wild. That's the crazy one. But yeah, they also target deliberate months. It's December and March. It's 68.5% December and March, which has about a 1 in 645 million chance of being random. So that's a thing. And then after the crackdown, it starts
You actually calculated that?
Oh yeah, we calculated it. I can send you the math. We got.
Well, tell us that. Tell us that number again.
It's 1 in 645 million odds.
Wow.
Wait, those are the odds that these games
those are the
would
odds
be chosen.
Those are the odds that the games line up in December and March. That's 68.2% of the non-back-to-back games are in December or March out of all the seasons, is 1 in 645 million.
Hey,
now I noticed in the video that I'm working on, who just so happens to come onto their schedule around then are some tougher teams like Boston and the Bucks. Like, they don't face any of these tough guys in the first half of the season.
So
Right.
that's actually where it gets kind of sinister. If you isolate the Laker years, right after the crackdown begins, it starts to shift. Actually, it doesn't start to shift. It just shifts dramatically. I mean, it just shifts immediately. But it starts in the Laker years, right after the crackdown. It starts shifting to November, January, where they're actually missing mostly the weakest opponents, not the strongest. And
Fanboys.
there's some reasons for that I can get into, the speculative reasons that I would think, but it has some interesting effects when you do that. But the crazy part is that it shifts immediately. Like, it's not gradual. It's not, oh, that one season or this. It's just immediate.
Fanboys, didn't I tell you he was ducking and dodging moms and shit, right? Didn't I tell you? He was ducking and dodging.
You're right.
We got Robin asking to come in.
Well, he has the link. Click the link.
Are you so?
I'll email it to you again, Robin.
As you're looking at these years, do you see those numbers change as he gets older? Specifically, the closer he got to 40, like those 2 or 3 years approaching 40.
So that's an interesting one. We do see it change, but we actually see it go the opposite way that it should look for an aging player. That's kind of it shifts immediate. Almost all of these things shift immediately following first when they put the rest rules policy in, and then we see it shift again when they call out the crackdown. So after the rest rules, he goes Iron Man, and then a whole new the new shift of the same pattern begins. And then we see the crackdown, and again he goes, I think all 82 or almost 82, and then the following year it starts to get it. The same pattern exists, but it starts to become it's called masking, but I can get into that, show you how that works. But yeah, it shifts in response to that. It's not gradual, and it goes the opposite way that it should if you're counting on age. It also doesn't avoid injury protection, which is an interesting thing. It has absolutely nothing to do with injury whatsoever. It's actually the opposite of what you would do if you were trying to avoid injury.
Hey, Jim, this sounds like it's right up your alleys. The type of video you'd like to make.
I got to say, it's very impressive what you put together. And I can definitely appreciate that for sure. One thing I was going to say is, you guys had Gilbert Arenas, I think it might have been on Dart's show, but either way. And he said that the players don't get to pick what days they get to play, or they're told to sit out. I call bullshit on that. Because if you go to the coach and you say, hey, coach, there's no way I'm sitting out this game. You're telling me you have to anyway? I never bought that. Never bought it. I don't believe it at all. I think that's crap.
That's a great point.
That goes back to that whole media should be held accountable for outright lies. Gilbert Arenas is now a member of the media. And it's an outright lie. It's just like when they say, or just like when Rich Paul says he had no idea about the AD trade. These are lies, right? And these are still members of the media speaking them and spewing them. And I agree with you 100%. If you believe either of those things, I think you're crazy.
Yeah, these are lies because, we heard Magic. Magic said, man, they used to have to take our jerseys from us. Just so, because if we're watching the game and we see we about to lose, we're going to want to jump into the game, whether we could play or not. That's the difference.
Hey, Robin, check your email. I sent you the link again. This is the age of empowerment. This is the age in which players basically call the shots. And in this same time period is when we're supposed to believe that players are being sat against their will. Stop it.
Right. You picked the worst time to tell that lie.
Well, something to toss out there kind of for you on that note, AOH. You could try to argue that, right? You could try to argue that, well, that's the coach's call, that's, the league's call, that's the team's call or whatever, but not if it stays true over 3 different teams, 3 front offices, 3 coaches, right? Over 12 years like that. There's no either, and maybe, let's try to be as generous as possible. Either the entire league is doing it, or he has that level of control that he can mandate doing that regardless of what team he's on.
Right.
That's what I would say.
Well, I have a short in the members section that they were investigating Lori on the Jazz, and like sending like people to watch and see if he's truly injured. And I'm like, we've got LeBron James showing up to his kids' games, jumping up and down and doing damn near doing the splits, as Zay pointed out in one of his videos. I'm like, you guys are sending undercover people to investigate Lori, and LeBron is just shoving it in your fucking face that he's not injured. Come on.
Listen, you don't know that man's groin, AOH. Come on, you weren't there.
McZuggins, thank you so much. I'm gonna let Robin talk for a while, and if you want to add more, we'll feel free to call back in. But appreciate all the research you did.
Sure.
Me and
good job, man. Good job.
I appreciate
McZuggins,
it.
can you leave your contact information in the private chat?
I'll send it to you.
Sure. AOH has
cool,
it. You're welcome to get in touch anytime. I'm happy. And that's
Appreciate
one
that.
last thing there. I'm very happy to send over, the numbers, the graphs, the significance tests, anything you guys want to look at. I'm happy to send it over, pass it around, be critical, tell me I'm wrong. That's fine. But I just don't think it lies. One little fact for you too, just as a fun one for y'all to go off of. On those back-to-backs, by the way, before 2021, before the crackdown, it was almost always mixed travel, meaning it was either away home or home away instead of home home or away away, which actually has the most logistics, the most travel fatigue. And then as soon as the crackdown starts, it starts being evenly divided. And if it's not perfectly even divided, the following season corrects whatever the previous season messed up every time. And the odds of that happening, I ran the simulation, one is less than 1 in 100,000. You run that 100,000 times and it does not shift from one to the other.
That's crazy.
Ever. I don't actually have a computer strong enough to go beyond that to actually find the actual decimal.
We got to get some graphics to go with the data that you're providing.
Anyway, I got graphics for you, but anyway, I'll leave you with that. I don't want to hold y'all up. Y'all,
what's your channel name?
I don't have a channel. There's no viewers, no subs, no cloud.
It sounds like you need to start one.
Y'all just do whatever you want with that. This is just a little.
So if you don't have a channel, that means I can take credit for your work then. So just take your time. You're good. You're good. Go ahead.
He emailed it. He emailed it to me. He follows my channel. If anyone's stealing from him, it's me.
I follow all your channels. Y'all can all steal it equally and argue about who got it first.
I'm not.
Speed sounded like LeBron over there.
Robin, we're all sleep deprived, and none of us had the Sports and Fitness Rants coffee.
Stimulus package.
McZuggins, thank you for coming in, and Robin, welcome to the show.
Cheers.
Yo, once again, thank you very much, guys. It's good to be back with you. Sorry, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it. I had some housework going on this morning into the afternoon, but I saw you guys were still going. I wanted to jump on, yo. So what's up, Zay? My man Speem, the Czar Jim. You got my man Jim here. My goodness.
I know.
We loaded up today, fanboys. We are loaded up.
What do you guys think of this super chat that I have on the screen? I don't think you guys really understand the impact of such a toxic parent on his offspring. In short, LeBron James is a monster behind closed doors. I've sort of touched on that because people say Bronny's a grown man, and he is. And he's got money. So stand up to your dad. That's easier said than done, though. I'm an old man now, and I have to try and remember what it was like having the bravery to stand up to your old man. What do you guys think about this?
When I think about, shout out to my man CP, man. He's a true supporter of all of our channels and stuff. When we think about, the toxic, what he's talking about, the toxic, relationships with parents and their kids, when you speak about having enough to stand up to your father, for example, I think that what comes with that, or the reason why you might feel, apprehensive, is because of the respect that your parent earned from you. So I tell people all the time to this day, I'm 44 years old. My father's 74 years old. And I always joke around. If my dad told me today, hey, you're grounded, you can't go outside, I'm probably not going to go outside, man. Not because I'm afraid that my dad's going to beat me up or something like that. It's because I respect my father so much because he earned that level of respect from me all the years that he raised me, the way that I watched him carry himself, the way that I saw him interact with my mother, the way that I saw him interact with other grown-ups, the way I saw him go to work every day and not making excuses, the sacrifices I saw him made, and earned the respect from me, his child. So all these years later, I don't have to think about, hey, man, I would stand up to my dad if he wasn't doing this or doing that, because my dad never put me in that position where I would have to feel that way about him, because he always, like I said, stood on values and things of that nature. I'm a better man because of my dad. I always tell people the best man I know is my father. When you think about the relationship between LeBron James and his son, LeBron James hasn't been acting in a respectable manner to a point where his son should, lay down and be like, hey, I'm just going to do whatever my dad says, because he's earned that level of respect. Part of the reason why LeBron James Jr. gets booed and gets criticized so heavily is because of his father and the way his father has carried himself.
I'm sorry, but does he get criticized that heavily? I mean, there's those of us who
remember they were booing him at USC. They were literally booing this kid, man.
Oh, I don't. Oh, well, it's been all love in the NBA. Zay,
we passed those days. The thing is, Bronny should be proud of what his father has done for him. He doesn't know about free lunch. He doesn't know about taking the bus to school. There's certain things that Bronny will never be exposed to, and he should thank and love his father for that. But
well, indeed, he has an easier life, but that was already achieved prior to manipulating the NBA draft. That part didn't even need to happen for Bronny to already have a better life, right?
But should LeBron James Jr. really respect his father? Yeah, he should definitely be thankful for the life that he lives, because his father could be some weirdo. His father could not be there. We all get that. But once again, should he really be proud of his dad walking off the court early? Should he be proud of his dad always blaming his teammates, always crying and moaning, flopping all over the court? These are the kinds of actions that my father wouldn't do. So I don't have to worry about my dad embarrassing me, but LeBron James Jr.'s dad's been burying himself the family name for years now.
Most definitely, but at the same time, Bronny don't have enough life experience to probably quantify what all that really means. That's the difference. Bronny
and why
hasn't
not,
lived.
Jay? Because his dad didn't teach him about sportsmanship and leadership and honor and class and integrity, standing on business. How many times did LeBron James Jr. see his father send a tweet out, and then 2 minutes later or 2 days later, he deletes that tweet? That means that you're not a grown man standing on what they mean and meaning what they say. You're just out here being emotional, and that's what he's been giving to his son. He hasn't been leading by example.
Well, your examples intensify what I was going to say, Robin. And the comment I left on your video, Zay, is that I thought that Bronny handled himself in interviews pretty well, considering who his dad is. Like, he's classier than his dad is. He speaks better than his dad does. He's not cursing all the time, and he's
That's
not
a low bar.
And he's not. It's a very low bar, but I thought Bronny sounded pretty good.
Yeah, he did. He sounded like he's got some media training. Of course, they had to prepare him for his demise. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no way they believe that he really was an NBA player. There's no way.
He's not.
You know whose name does not get brought up enough, or at least family name, is the Ball family. Because I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I was all about how LeVar Ball was handling his kids and their careers and everything like that. I didn't like it, but hindsight's 2020. And it's kind of like, well, he got 2 out of 3 of his kids to the league. And it almost seems like they deserved it more than Bronny does. And that's not even an almost. I think it's fair to say they did. At least Melo and not Jello, the other one. They deserve to be in the league. You watch them put in the work. And LeVar Ball he had like a very different approach, and everybody shit on him the whole time for it. But it's like, I don't know. It's looking back on it, it seemed like his approach, I think I would prefer, because at least it seemed like it was on the up and up. I feel like people don't talk about that enough.
Well, here we are lowering the bar again. I mean, when LeBron James when LeBron makes LeVar look good.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like you can only speak on how the game is managed now, right? And that's how far things have fallen. But again, it's like, well, they both got to the same space, and LeVar Ball seemed to kind of do a better job. But nobody ever brings that up.
LeVar Ball, to me, he came across as a guy that was living vicariously through his children. That's how he came across to me. I'm not saying that he was doing that, but that's how he came across to me. He's like that father that you see at the game that's over the top because they think if their kid makes it, that's going to enhance them somehow. They're going to live through their kid and, they're going to be celebrated like their children. That's how he came across to me. Like I said, I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. I'm not saying he's a bad guy or a bad father, man. But LeBron James, he seems to me that everything that he does is to lift himself up. So he's not living through Bronny. He's making his son lift up his legacy. Let's make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen out there. The only reason why LeBron James Jr. was drafted into the NBA is so that LeBron James Sr. could have that moment opening night. So he could be the first player in NBA history to play with his son. So they can somehow use that to lift him up, lift up his legacy. Nothing to do with his son.
Real quick, and Robin, let me piggyback off that. One of the reasons, and I brought this up, I think, last week, is, and you mentioned this earlier, it's about caricature. If LeBron wasn't tweeting, talking about how his son's better than half the league, or talking about wherever I go, they also get my son in one second, and then the next second saying Bronny earned his way to the team, or you have their Nazi head coach talking about Bronny earned, you got JJ Redick talking about he earned his way to the team, but you have proof saying, well, actually, no, he didn't. You have Stephen A. Smith saying, well, he's there because of LeBron. You can't have it both ways. If he was up front and said Bronny's on this team because of who I am, I'd hate him a lot less. But how stupid do you think people are if you're, never mind. I mean, we know the answer to that question.
Jim, you said you're older than all of us. Tell us about fatherhood from a time even older than we are. Like your dad. Did your dad pull shit like LeBron James does?
No, of course not. I mean, he let me go my own way, and that's the thing is Bronny is nothing but a pawn for LeBron James, for his legacy. It's all it is. Yep. That's why they've rushed along his career. And before anybody says, oh, he had 17 points, he belongs. Well, didn't the dude on South Sudan was like 17 years old, stick it to Team USA? I don't know. I kind of remember that happening. So everybody can have a game here and there or whatever. But Bronny James should be in the NCAA tournament right now, having his moment away from his dad.
Thank you.
That does not benefit LeBron. So that was never going to happen. It was never in the cards. I guarantee that's what happened.
You know what? I wanted a game, Jim. He just wanted to play video games.
Right. It's about to be even worse with Bryce because Bronny's looking like he's better than Bryce. I looked at that game where LaFody was jumping up and down when Bryce won the championship. They had Bryce all over the headlines, and Bryce only scored 3 points. He was 1 of 9 from the floor and only scored 3 points, but he took over and hit all the headlines.
I thought he hit
Bronny and Bron. Bryce and
I
Bron.
thought he had hit the game winner. The way they were showing everyone hugging and celebrating around him. You know what? You know how sad sports has become now? All the kids just try and get around the star player and celebrate around him because they know that that's going to get them on camera. It's just social media. Sports is like reduced to social media opportunities.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wait, when LeBron celebrated in that game, at what point of the game was that? Had Bryce just had a great play, or was that just the end of the clock? What was he celebrating?
No, he was celebrating. I think it was like an and one almost or something like that for somebody on the team that Bronny's playing on. But at the same time, he scored 3 points. They're like, Bronny contributes to state championship. How? he had 3 points. What is contributing now? 1 for 9? That's
let me tell you one other bad thing about Bronny and Bryce and going straight to the NBA, because these men behave in a weird, unmanly way. And one of the many examples that Zay's brought up a few times is how they bang each other's women. And it's like they don't ever learn actual social skills or how to go outside of the circle and meet people. Do that in college. Bryce. You could be doing this in college, Bronny. I mean, college is a great experience. You could flunk out and have a great experience, but go learn how to make real friends, not fucking other multimillionaires sitting next to you working on their brand.
Or people you meet on goddamn Roblox.
It's sad watching these guys give these women what they want. Hey, what's your Cash App? I'll send you money right now. Like, what type of world are we living in where the first thing these guys are doing are blessing their cash app.
Let me give a shout out to some of these chats. Count Kilroy Graph with a very generous $20 super thanks. LeBron doesn't get enough criticism for deferring to Timothy Mozgov in Game 4 of the 2015 NBA Finals. Indeed, I'd forgotten about that. They don't talk about LeBron's failures in the finals. Boy, do they avoid that shit, and that's why we forget about it. It works out great, doesn't it? Works out great, doesn't it? I get that Kyrie was hurt, but he had a chance to put them up 3-1 and all but put away the series. Wow. Yeah, go ahead, Robin.
Yeah, man, you're on the money at Wait. They continue to make more excuses. Shout to Count Kilroy Graph for bringing up Timothy Mozgov. You know what's really interesting? When you think about LeBron James fan base, they spend more time talking about Michael Jordan's teammates. They spend more time talking about Kobe Bryant's teammates. They spend more time worried about who Larry Bird played with or who Tim Duncan had in his team. They're always worried about the other teammates, but they never tell you the things like Timothy Mozgov or someone like Matthew Dellavedova or Tristan Thompson or J.R. Smith. In the 2016 NBA Finals, guys, in Game 7, coming out of the half, the Cavaliers were down by 7 points. And I remember at halftime, they asked Paul Pierce and they asked, I can't remember who else it was. There was another player there. And they asked him, do you think the Cavaliers are in trouble? They're down by 7 going into the half to the Golden State Warriors. And we all know the Warriors were known for coming out of half times in the third quarters and putting teams away, jumping on top of teams. In the beginning of the third quarter, J.R. Smith hit back-to-back threes and brought the Cavs within 1 point. Just like that. The first 2 baskets were 3-pointers by J.R. Smith. These are the kinds of crucial roles and plays that teams made or teammates made for LeBron James throughout his entire career, but they're too worried about John Paxson or Steve Kerr or Tony Kukoc or Shaquille O'Neal or somebody of that nature to really give his teammates their just dues.
Amen. Well said.
That's a fact. They don't talk about Larry Hughes. They don't talk about Mo Williams. They don't talk about it.
And from the same person, Count Kilroy Graph, hoping your scap will take apart Barry McConaughey. Mick Cockner. He's a Nick Wright on Sudafed. I'm actually unfamiliar. You guys?
Oh,
I don't know.
Oh, hey, I have no idea who that is.
No clue.
Okay.
Zay, I am compiling a list of women that more than 3 athletes have slept with. I planned on doing that by myself just to kind of piggyback off of some of your momentum, but you're more than happy to join. Because once you brought it up, I was like, you're 100% right. I couldn't think of that dude that plays for Houston that knocked up that
Jalen Green?
Jalen Green, yeah, because he was the first person I thought of because the woman he knocked up was like 40.
Yeah, it's some predators out here, man. It is some predators in this world, and they preying on these young NBA players. Please, they need to start a class. They need to start a seminar, something to help these guys navigate through these old bitches.
Vasectomies are reversible. Just do that. Just do it.
Like you guys say, man, guys are not learning about life when you go to college. You get some life experiences. What I noticed from a lot of these quote-unquote professional basketball players, just overall, just professional athletes in general, is they don't seem to learn from their mistakes. These guys is constantly making the same mistakes over and over and over again. And listen, man, we all make mistakes, man. I've made so many in my life, which is part of the reason why my life has been harder than it probably should be. But once again, we all want to learn from these mistakes. These guys are getting all this money to continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over again, man. It's ridiculous.
Well, exactly. There aren't any consequences, Robin. Don't you have to suffer consequences to learn? These guys not only don't suffer consequences, they're actually rewarded for their bad behavior.
Right.
Why would you change? You don't have to grow up.
Man, some of these child support numbers, man, those are consequences. I'm sorry, man. Some of this shit, like Iman Shumpert, man, he's down to his dick and balls. That's the only thing he has left after
that's crazy.
Award.
Okay, screwing up outside of the basketball world, I guess they suffer some. They screw up. They suffer some consequences there.
I mean, even Jordan got taken for half. He's so successful, it meant nothing to him. But even he got taken for half.
He was married for a long time. There's kids involved in these things. when you talk about going through a divorce, that's a completely different scenario than what a lot of the listen. A professional athlete will go through a divorce, right, from time to time. No one's. I mean, look at Tom Brady, man. You know what the funny thing is about with someone like Tom Brady, as opposed to some of these other guys, is that Tom Brady got a baby mama too, but no one ever talks about Tom Brady got a baby mama. Tom Brady got baby moms. He had someone knocked up, that wasn't his wife, but no one ever talks about these things with Tom Brady because of the way that Tom Brady carries himself with a lot more class and respectability than some of these clowns out here.
You know what? That's a deeper issue, Robin. But I'll go as far as to say is you don't see a lot of offensive linemen in the league with baby's mom's problems. You know what I mean? They're off they're off the radar. You don't hear about Andre Kirilenko having baby's mom problems. Tim Duncan having baby's mom's problems. All these like lower edge
like
guys.
I said, all those guys, like you said, they keep themselves right. You don't hear about them in the headlines. That's what we're talking about. A lot of these guys, man, they're characters.
Yep.
What else are we going to look forward to when you drop your video today, Zay?
Oh man, it's just gonna be just full of laughter. Oh my God, this was beautiful. It was. I thought I was having a dream. I was having an out-of-body experience watching the Bulls do this to the Lakers. LeBron thought he could just take 2 weeks off. He's like, yeah. Didn't I tell you? We talked about it on stream. He was like, what game do you think LeBron's coming back? I said, oh, yeah, he's coming back for the Bulls. Yep. I said it with conviction because I know thy enemy. You must know thy enemy.
Zay, you know what's wild about that is they spent the last 2 weeks talking about how the Lakers were, the top 3 defense for the last third of the season, blah, 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 blah. Like that real specific stat that makes them shine. But didn't they just they gave up, 146, I think, to Chicago.
Fucking Bulls.
So then I thought they had a great defense. I was confused.
Yo, shout out to Dreamers Pro. I see a Dreamers Pro out there in the chat, man.
Okay,
good eye.
Dreamers Pro, man. Dreamers Pro, get in here.
Yo, Charles, what up, man?
Throw some honey on them, Dreamers Pro. Throw it on them.
He's dead on about that white players thing, except they don't say white, they say European, because that's okay to say. You're allowed to say, I don't like European players, but you can't say I hate white players. It's just coded language. That's all it is. That's why Luke is not the face of the league.
Oh, fair boys. Hey, when he did that little driving layup, when they cleared the lane for him, I know you took your shirts off. Y'all was like, yeah, he's back.
He's back. It's always he's back. Every 6 or 7 games, he's back. That tells you everything you need to know. If someone has to consistently say he's back, then he's not really there.
Man down, do you want to jump in? I'll put the call-in link. I'm going to put it in right now.
Oh, that's funny, man.
You got to get.
I like Honey too.
Fanboys, don't be too butthurt that we don't answer you.
Yo, shout out to Uncut Hoops. Uncut Hoops in the chat.
I said no foreigners.
Oh yeah, we got to get the Avengers up here now. Come on.
Oh yeah,
come on in here.
So wait, Carmelo Anthony said that no foreigners can be the face of the league.
Actually, Uncut's video got me pretty pissed off this week. Not at Uncut, but just at the audacity. I mean, how do you get away with talking like that? I mean, these guys sound hateful.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's racist, xenophobic, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, and you know what's really messed up? How is it that the NBA gets to, these people who are claiming that the NBA would never allow foreigners to be the face of the NBA, and yet the NBA is trying to make the sport global and take it across the world. There's no way in hell what they're saying is true. I don't think that. I don't think businessmen are saying, I don't want a foreigner to be the face. I think businessmen want whoever's going to be great to be the face. Whoever's going to be a great face to be the face.
So this is actually what I'm working on right now. There's 2 clashing ideologies here. You have the LeBron camp that wants that power to stay in control, right? You have the other camp, that's the leaders, the businessmen, the owners, what have you, that want to move on from him because of the, for lack of a better term, clutch that he has on the league. They know that that's not sustainable once he leaves. So they're desperately trying to bring in another face of the league Luka just happens to be, in my opinion, the most exciting player to watch right now, and by far the best player on offense to watch. But the league will not allow that to happen because LeBron's camp doesn't want that to happen. Hence, it won't happen. It's no different than when Steph Curry was supposed to be the face of the league, but there was a rumor going around that because he was lighter skinned, there was like a large group of the black players in the league that didn't want him to be the face of the league because they felt that it was going to be some kind of preferential treatment. So it's no different. It's all coded language, and it's all hidden behind just a grasp for power. On one end, you have LeBron and his whole camp, kind of like grasping onto what's left, and on the other half, you have the owners and the teams that want to move on, but are they're kind of just being held hostage right now.
I want to ask y'all: are there any foreign-born players But I guess okay, the MLB. But are there any other leagues out there where a foreigner is necessarily the face of the league?
I mean, listen, this is the thing. The problem for the NBA that like AOH just brought up is a good point. It doesn't. The NBA is like confused. They contradict themselves. If you really want to be a global sport, then you have to be willing, and not have a problem with a foreign player maybe potentially being the face of your league. When you talk about hockey, for example, that's not an American sport. So you're going to have foreigners that are going to be the face of a hockey. That's not going to be an American. If it is, you're going to have to be really good. When you think about soccer, not an American sport. So is an American or can an American be the face of soccer? Yeah, probably. But you're going to have to be really damn good to be the face of soccer because that's not an American sport. When you think about football, that's an American sport. It's not a global sport, man. We're the only country playing football as far as American football. Ain't no one else playing American football. So obviously, for football, you're going to have the American players dominating. The problem for the NBA right now, and I think the thing with Carmelo Anthony, which is interesting, is I think that he's envious and jealous. And I think a lot of these guys are. It has nothing to do with race or anything of that stuff. These guys are envious and jealous. How dare we even think that a foreign player could be the face of the NBA? The NBA, where we're supposed to be dominating. That's the pride that we have as Americans, as professionals, as a competitor. That's the problem we've had with the USA Olympic team. And how they went downhill. All of a sudden, we're supposed to be satisfied, but maybe beating guys. No, we're supposed to be dominating these guys. Like Michael Jordan, those guys did back in the day. We're supposed to beat them by 40, man. So, these guys today, I think, are jealous and envious that a Nikola Jokic could probably be the best player in the league, that a Luka Doncic could maybe get more endorsements than they could and make more money and be more well-liked. A lot of these guys, man, the problem with these guys is, how are you going to market some of them? They can't even speak. You can't market Giannis. The guys are dudes, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, imagine somebody that's a foreign, like, the MLB boost up Ohtani, but Ohtani can't give you an interview. You know what I mean? Like, he can.
But to be fair, neither can LeBron.
Wait, guys, I got to ask.
Neither can LeBron.
Is the guy from Dreamers? The guy from Dreamers Pro's name isn't Ben, is it?
It's Charles.
No,
Charles Savance. Okay. All right.
Go ahead.
Whose dog is that? Your dog snoring? Somebody's.
Yeah, because because we got the pro blackity blacks that be like, hey man, Luka, they're shielding Luka, they're hiding Luka's flaws. Like, man, they've been hiding LeBron flaws for 22 years. 22 fucking years, man.
But also Melo's mindset, real quick, I'm sorry. Melo also is convinced that the Nuggets tried to screw him over about giving 15 to Joker. So he has that typical American kind of arrogance to him. So I expect that kind of take from him. Someone who thinks the Nuggets.
Cameron, I like your quote. NBA went from pro athletes to athletic actors. I like that.
Oh, that's good.
Tynex, Jokic is the face of the league. Well, maybe he is or he isn't, but what's interesting about that is that who gets to announce it? Like, if ESPN comes on and says so-and-so is the face of the league, if somebody is so good and so likable, I think they become the face of the league, whether someone anoints them or not.
Yeah.
You got to be on the commercials. That's how you become the face of the league. You got to be on the billboards. You got to be in the advertisements. You got to have the sneakers. You got to have the endorsements. That's how you become the face of something. When people think about that sport, they have to think when you close your eyes and you think about basketball, who do you think of? That's who the face of the league is. Or to you anyway, and that's really all that should matter. That's how these guys gain their popularity. When we talk about Steph Curry, and we say maybe he was never the face of the league or pushed as the face of the league, Steph Curry was still the most popular in the league for many, many of those years. He had the #1 jersey sales, or people were buying his sneakers, or they're buying his clothing brand. These are how these guys, stay relevant. That's how you become the face, quote unquote. Like I said, if you think about a sport and you think about that player, then maybe to you, he is the face of the league.
Jolly Joshams, MLB's biggest player is Japanese, and they let his team have a preseason game in Japan. It was huge. Okay. And it's still America's sport, right?
Oh, yeah, the Tokyo series. Yeah. I can't wait for baseball to start. I'm putting my parlays in on baseball. Fuck basketball. I'm done betting on basketball.
I mean, when you think about Ohtani, you know what I'm saying? And you think about what he's done for the sport. And like you said, Zay, he cannot even speak English in an interview. He has a translator and things of that nature. But yet, what is it about him? He's really, really good, man.
Yeah,
this dude's amazing. So this is what I'm
got that
talking about. You can't be mediocre. You can't be so-so. They're talking about this guy potentially being Babe Ruth level. Babe Ruth level, guys. That means that you're one of the greatest players of all time. You're not just great for your era or right now. He's being compared to the greatest players who ever played the game. And that's why he has the potential to be the face of the league. He's not just good, man.
Yeah.
He's really, really, really good.
Baseball is a different game, though, today, because if you were to hit 2 home runs in the game back in the early 2000s, they coming right for your head. Pedro Martinez was coming for your fucking head. You know what I mean? I'm just keeping it real. That's what Barry Bonds was talking about. He was saying, like, there's just certain things that Ohtani ain't going to have to deal with in today's league. You know what I mean? So it works. It's the same thing in both leagues. The leagues have changed so much that you're going to be allowed to play a certain style and maintain a certain level of longevity within these sports because of
like no one's going to chase you off the plate anymore in baseball the same way that no one is going to knock LeBron on his ass when he goes up for those untested layups and dunks.
Yep.
I mean, the easiest way to shut down the Lakers is to fucking put a body on LeBron.
Yep.
That's it. Put length
put
on him. That's it.
Put him on the ground.
Put him on the ground.
They say put his dick in the dirt. That's what they say. Put him
on the ground twice and the entire game's over. You don't have time for commercials anymore because that's how long it takes for LeBron to get up. Put him on the ground twice and the game's fucking done.
Pete, this for a segue. Steph is in the paint all the time and is consistently on the ground, right? And Robin, for everything that you just said about Steph, isn't it weird that he's not the face of the league then? Because he has shaped pretty much this entire generation of basketball. I think even without a bias, you could say his method of basketball, the way he plays, it's more fun to watch. He has just as many chips as LeBron, and one could argue has one more than LeBron. And he's better on camera. He has that same clean family picture image that they try to paint of LeBron every single time he scores a bucket. With every bucket you get, he's a great father or a great statesman. But Steph goes out and does it every single day and doesn't say a word about it. Isn't it weird that he's not the face of the league? Wouldn't you think that there is actively a push against him? Because right now it's LeBron. There's no arguing that. But when you compare apples to apples, you would think it would be Steph.
Isn't it interesting that even without the league's support, official support, Steph outsells LeBron jerseys? So that speaks to, hey, people are going to like who they want to like, but Steph would indeed be bigger if he'd gotten the league's support, I think.
The Nike contract hurt him too.
Though. Oh, I'm sorry, Speed, go ahead, man.
Real quick, the Nike contract, not leaving Nike because it was Nico Harrison's fault, but going to Under Armour didn't help his case either for being the push, because historically speaking, the face of the league has either been a Nike. Well, Nike owns Jordan. It's been a Nike athlete. Think Jordan, Kobe, LeBron, if you want to talk faces of the league, right? So the NBA would never allow an Under Armour athlete, because he is the premier Under Armour athlete. They would never allow him to be the face of the league, unfortunately.
Yeah, Nike plays a huge role in this. Dreamers Pro just pointed that out. I got a super chat. I want to shout out Right Hand Cam. He said, no matter where the player is from, shouldn't matter what color, black, white, brown, blue, or purple. And I agree. It shouldn't. The color shouldn't matter when it comes to being the face of something. If you good, if you white and you balling, I'm finna give you your credit. I've been said it before. White players are coming. They coming back to take over the NBA. This is not a game. It's not a joke. White players are coming. We got to give them their respect. But at the same time, when we talking about, being on the commercials and all these different things, you got to be able to speak English. Yep. You know what I'm saying? We can't forget that. You got to be able to relate to the audience. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Hey, anybody can be the face. It don't matter where you're from, but you got to get this language down.
I don't know if they're real businessmen, maybe they should be learning Spanish.
No,
the American players can't
speak
English.
It's not even about the language barrier, so to speak. What Zay is talking about is, like we just mentioned, you even have American players who can't speak. It's not necessarily about the language barrier or they can't speak clear English. It's that a lot of these guys just can't speak in general. They just sound ridiculous. Bro, they're cursing all the time. So really, how marketable could you be? Yeah, if you're a foreign player and you can't really speak, then how are you going to be in a commercial? It's difficult for you to be sold to the American people globally.
I have an argument to that.
You're trying to market that to casual fans. Maybe people who don't necessarily know really how great you really are or how good you really are, and that's why they're putting you out there. So you have to have something for them to relate to.
I have two arguments to that, and they're not all-stars by any means, but Boban is one of the best on-screen presences ever. And
stop it, Fiend. Get out of here, man.
Boban and Dikembe Mutombo.
I can say Andre the Giant back in the day had a much greater on-screen presence, and Andre the Giant, once again, you couldn't understand half the words he said. But it's Andre the Giant. That's why. It's not some regular dude.
Well, I did say Dikembe Mutombo.
Yeah, but he's not Andre the Giant, though, man.
Hey, hear from Mutombo was no.
Hey, Robin, Gary shouts you out. He says, thank you for keeping that same energy.
Oh, yeah, shout to Gary, man, a true supporter of my channel. Thank you, Gary, very much. Yo, shout to Jordan versus LeBron, man. I saw Jordan versus LeBron. He sent a super chat to us, man. Much respect to him, man. He got a good channel. You guys should check him out.
LeBron brought Luka and Bronny to the Lakers, so LeBron's duties are finished for the Lakers and for the NBA. Bronny will be starting for the Lakers next season, a.k.a. the NBA Circus Act.
That brings up a larger issue. At what point do you guys decide to stop watching these games because you're contributing to the ratings?
But listen, man, we are content creators, man. So once again, I often tell people, sometimes I have to sacrifice for these guys out there. I sacrifice for the people out there, man. I told people, I watched every minute of last year's All-Star game, man. Every minute of that. And people like, how could you sit through that? And I said, I did it for y'all, man. I sacrificed and sat through it so I can speak on it, man. When you're a content creator, when you follow sports, when you're into these things, listen, when we say that we're not into the basketball or into the NBA anymore, what we're talking about and what we're speaking to is how we don't watch it like we used to, man. I'm not saying I don't never watch basketball at all. I watch some of these things, but I don't watch it like I used to, man. I'm not going to sit through a whole damn game or stay up late to watch a game. These guys ain't worth it.
Man, you actually stayed up and watched the entire All-Star game. You
Last year, every
5
minute,
years
Jay,
of your life, man, watching the All-Star
every minute.
game, man. Oh, my God. Nah, but I agree with you, man. I can't watch every single game in the NBA. There's no way. I just can't. I can't look and see guys running up and down the court shooting threes with 20 seconds left on the shot clock, 15 seconds left on the shot clock, man. I just can't watch it. That's not basketball. All these setbacks, these fadeaways. I can't.
When I see a 30-point blowout and you don't know if the game's over, because, well, who knows? Maybe they'll get cold from three and the other team will get hot from three. I mean, what else tells you that it's just a 3-point contest now?
If you were up by 30 in the 90s and 2000, the game is over.
Yep.
Get your water.
Yeah, you went up 20 days back in the day, it was over.
They're sitting everybody. They're putting in their Bronnies at that point.
It's just that the team that's up 30 will still come down shooting threes with 20 seconds left on the shot clock. 18 seconds left on the you're up 30. Why are you not running the shot clock down? You know what I mean? It's just simple stuff where you like, dude, you're the reason why you lost this game.
There's no other reason.
Even crazier than that, Zay, as simple as you just put it, how do you justify LeBron staying in games when they're down by 30 and he's still staying in the game other than stat padding? When you break it down that easily, you know what I mean?
No, and you're right, Speen. That's a good point because a lot of these guys are doing that. They'll stay in these games late. You know, I did a video not too long ago about Amen Thompson from the Houston Rockets who stayed in the game with the Rockets up. They were up there damn near 30 points. They were up like 20-some points. And he was in the game with 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And what happened? He went in there, sat chasing for a triple-double and ended up spraining his ankle. And he still hasn't been back. He's been out for weeks now with the sprained ankle. For what? Because you were chasing a triple-double that meant nothing when your team was already up big in the fourth quarter? You should have been on the bench chilling out, man, drinking some Gatorade.
I think he's back now.
And who do you learn that from? You learn that from someone like LeBron James, who's supposed to be, like we mentioned, the face of the league.
Guys, so LeBron James just missed major games because of this groin injury, and I'm looking at the play-by-play in the fourth period. It's 123 to 103 with 6:53 left. And what do I see next to that? LeBron James, lost ball turnover. He's still in the game. He's still in the game.
Hey, there was a turnover where they inbounded it and LeBron tried to reach for it and was like, you know what? Fuck it. Just take it, man. I'm out of here.
Picture him saying that and like everybody being like, well, he's earned that.
It's your inspiration, baby.
I was crying, man. I was like, ain't no way. He just said, fuck it. Like, hey, man, turnover. Oh my God, it was beautiful to watch, man. Masterpiece. I hope Vegas took everybody's dollar last night because I know they did. I know I would have never put money on the Bulls. Fuck that. I owe the Bulls an apology, man. I ain't gonna lie. I said the Bulls will never be shit, and I still don't think they will be. But hey, that was a great win last night. Thank you. You revived the belt to ass series. Fanboy was running after me like I'm like a zombie, and 28 weeks later, they was all in my comment section. They was everywhere. Fanboys, I'm back. I'm back, fanboys.
It's good.
That was a perfect storm.
For everything that we say, it still makes me like the Lakers in the playoffs still makes me nervous. Because at the end of the day, they still have the refs, and that has shown almost empirically that is worth more than almost anything. You know what I mean? I don't care if they finish 8th. They can beat OKC in a 7-game series because you know they'll have the refs. SGA probably won't get all the same calls he's been getting, and you know that'll be the story of the series, even if they finish in last place.
I want you to think about what you just said. Despite all of that, the referees, all the trades and free agents that LeBron James has had in his career, this man still needed super teams just to go 4-6 in the finals. If you think about LeBron James in LA, all that help he's had at the free throw line, we talked about the last 2 seasons, the Lakers are plus 500 at the free throw line. All of that help just to finish in the play-in every season. All of that help just to get knocked out in the second round. All of that help just to win 1 bubble championship. So no matter what, as long as LeBron James is on your basketball team, you're never going to really have a really legit shot. You're going to need a lot of help, man. But once again, LeBron James is going to be the guy who's going to goof it up because that's what he continues to do. That's why you're 4-6, despite having all of this help in your career.
Robin, I think you just made real quick. You just made a really great argument in the sense that just low-hanging fruit, obvious names: D Wade, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, Luka Doncic, X amount of players, right? And he has 4 chips, arguably 3.5, and that many times versus Jordan's 6 out of 6 with Scottie Pippen.
Exactly, Steve.
I don't. What else is there to talk about when you talk about how much help, how much generational talent LeBron has had? What are we talking about here?
Scottie Pippen was
my
an
bad,
unfair advantage.
My bad, Zay. He was a super player. That's right. That's why he lost his wife to a terrible rap artist because he's a great basketball player. My bad, Zay. Go ahead.
Man, I lost my train of thought. Go ahead.
Hey, you guys watched? You guys watched any of Celtic City? The first 2 episodes are actually really good. Nice little journey back to the '60s Celtics.
The only Celtics I know is Celtic Pride. The movie.
Robin, you? I was worried that it was going to talk about the current Celtics, but it's
I got my train of thought back. I want to say one thing that pisses me off is how they try to say LeBron is a top 5 Laker. How in the hell is he a top 5 Laker? What has he done in a Lakers uniform? For one, he's never hit a game winner or buzzer beater in a Lakers uniform. LeBron has never even won a Western Conference final game in Los Angeles. What are we talking about? The only thing that he has for LA is a Disney ring. That is it. A ring where people opted out. They didn't want to play in the bubble. People were losing family members. You had players that were shooting into the heavens. TJ Warren. You know what I'm saying? Like, where are these guys? All these guys that were balling in the bubble are damn near out the league now. Knock it off, fanboys. LeBron has 3 rings to me. I don't acknowledge his 4th ring. I honestly say that Steph Curry has had a better career than LaFody James. Forget the points, because that's all fanboys talk about is points. 50K. Nobody cares about 50K, man. If points were the end-all, be-all, Kareem would be the GOAT. Because he didn't shoot a 3. He didn't shoot one fucking 3 and score 40,000 points.
Yeah, there's no way that LeBron James is a top 5 Laker. Even when you hear them say that LeBron James should have a statue outside of LA, that's insane for me. Are you kidding me? LeBron James, a statue? What has he done for LA? How many Laker fans I have on my channel, I'm sure you guys have the same thing, that tell me that they can't stand or can't wait for LeBron James to lead their team, to lead the Los Angeles Lakers. I tell you guys all the time, remember when LeBron James went to LA, they vandalized his mural. They literally vandalized it. Are you kidding me? What does that show you? That they did not even want you there when you got there. And now they're stuck with you, so to speak. And they've been having to deal with LeBron James on that team for the last 7 seasons. But when you think about the Lakers franchise, for someone to think that LeBron James is a top 5 Laker of all time, they're just speaking off of the overall totality of LeBron James' career. But when you look at what he's done in LA, there's no way that you can put him above some of the all-time great Lakers. The Lakers franchise has some great players that played for it, man. When you talk about the Jerry West and the George Mikens and the Elgin Baylors, you think about someone like Kobe Bryant. all these guys, Will Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Magic Johnson, and James Worthy. My goodness, man.
Have you thought, I started a series and there was so much data. I'm on part 3. I need to get to part 4, but what the Lakers have spent on LeBron James and spent to try and help LeBron James. And the only thing they've gotten out of it was that fake ring. And please stop saying he has 4. He doesn't have 4. That bubble shit it's absolute bullshit. But someone else pointed out how Shaq got them 3 championships and they shipped them out when push came to shove. LeBron hasn't done a damn thing for them, and they still bend over backwards for his ass. And that really put it into perspective for me, because you can argue the Shaq Kobe thing till you're blue in the face, but bottom line is Shaq did way more for the Lakers than LeBron James, and they were willing to get rid of Shaq.
You have to look at the ownership too. The ownership and just kind of like the times, right? Like back then, it was kind of like a no nonsense. Shaq was kind of acting iffy, and Kobe was, Kobe. If this stuff had happened back then, none of this would even be a conversation. LeBron wouldn't even be a Laker. You know what I mean? But Jeannie Buss is, for however you feel about her and that family, they bent over backwards for him. And again, that's the sign of the times, to just cater to the person and not hold them accountable. Shaq, this wouldn't have happened back then when it was the that 2000s double three-peat Lakers. That was a professional Lakers franchise that was all about dominating the league and leaving no doubt. This is a completely different team, a completely different league. You know what I mean?
Nico from Argentina says, I may be biased because of Manu, but I still think Duncan is better than LeBron's. Oh, you're
Facts.
spot on. Duncan's way better. Are you kidding me?
That's the thing, man. Like when you thinking about, I was talking to this guy from Cleveland. He was like, man, I'm a big LeBron. I'm like, so are you okay with somebody fucking over your team twice? Fucking over your city twice? Like you're talking about you probably bought jerseys for your kids and everything, and now your jerseys are throwbacks. Like Duncan has one jersey.
Yep.
Steph has one jersey. Kobe has one jersey. Jordan
Dirk.
really should have one jersey. We're not going to count the Wizards. Like the Wizards, fanboys love to use the Wizards, Jordan, as a coping mechanism. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, you got to read the chat that's on the screen. Let's forget the statue. Let's just name the urinals after LeBron James.
Name the shitters after LeBron. That's what we got to name the shitter after him.
That's why Dirk Nowitzki's one ring holds so much strength over any of LeBron's. Dirk has one jersey, and he won that chip the hard way.
Your man, right hand Cam says, "Hell no, LaForty ain't no Laker great."
No way.
Yeah, man.
Boy, ain't no way, boy.
I definitely put Tim Duncan above LeBron James easy. I've done videos on this. When you talk about the word impact, that's what Tim Duncan had. From the moment Tim Duncan stepped in the NBA, people forget Tim Duncan spent all those years at Wake Forest. He went there to Wake Forest 4 years, man. He went out there, came into the NBA, and this man was an all-NBA, all-defensive performer from his rookie season all the way up to damn near his last season. And the impact that Tim Duncan had, remember, the San Antonio Spurs went to the playoffs every single season for 20 years in a row. They had a top 5 defense almost every single season because of Tim Duncan's impact. When you think about all the players that they were able to bring in on the San Antonio Spurs over the years that Tim Duncan was there, that goes to his greatness. When you talk about guys only wearing one jersey, think about Tim Duncan, all the guys that they were able to bring it around him and still be successful. The Manu Ginobili's, the Tony Parkers, the Steven Jacksons, the Robert Ory's, the Steve Kerrs, the Steve Smiths, all these different players that they brought around those guys. They were able to do the same thing with someone like a Steph Curry because he's the mainstay. And you bring in all these guys over the years around them and you're able to be successful, man. That's impact. Tim Duncan by far on both sides of the ball. The longevity of Tim Duncan is much greater than LeBron James.
See, like the older guys will appreciate Tim. You're not going to appreciate Tim Duncan until you get older. I couldn't stand Tim Duncan. He didn't have a lineup. He wore big clothes that didn't fit him, even though he was 7 foot tall. And every time he got that ball on the elbow, that shit was going off the glass, straight into the rim. I fucking hated Tim Duncan. But as I got older, I was like, man, Tim Duncan was the recipe. That is the recipe for a great career. The fundamentals of the game is the recipe for longevity, real longevity. Not this artificial longevity where you taking PEDs and all these other different things that can help boost your endurance. They can help boost your athleticism. That's why LeBron couldn't score last night.
One coach.
One coach.
He's still coaching.
He have 90 coaches. He ain't have 90 players. Like if you think about it, the Spurs didn't really retool through free agency like that. They drafted players. They built teams. They had a purpose, man. Why can't y'all see that you can't cheat the game? You cannot cheat this game. The basketball guys will not allow you to cheat the game.
2 players since the NBA-ABA merger, 76 and 77, were all NBA first team as rookie, Larry Bird and Tim Duncan. Thank you for that bit of information, Jesse Gladsaget. And thank you for the super chat.
Man, we got some historians in here. I need that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, man.
Speaking of Larry Bird, maybe we'll do this next week. I'd like to talk about that Celtics show next week and talking about, putting business above ethnicity. We were talking about Europeans can't be the face and whatnot. It's really interesting looking back at Bill Russell's beginning in the league and the things that were going on in the nation. As Robin, as you'll point out, like people actually facing true hate and racism. That had to be quite the strange experience in Boston, but maybe we'll save that for another show since we've been going on for a while.
You know what's interesting about that super chat right there? You think about Larry Bird and Tim Duncan, guys that went to college, man.
Yep. Yes, sir.
True.
And to kind of talk about the Bill Russell situation, like imagine the type of real racism he had to go through in the 70s inside of Boston, right? And now you think about LeBron James in the year 2020s complaining about or fabricating somebody spray paint nigger on his motherfucking gate. Are you kidding? You know how embarrassing and disrespectful that is to somebody like Bill Russell, who really had to go through stuff like this. This is what we're talking about, man. This fake social justice warrior.
Did that happen? Did that happen first, or when Buddy lied and told everybody those two dudes tried to hang him outside a Subway? What was dude's name off the singer?
Jesse
Smollett.
Smollett.
Did the Jesse Smollett thing happen first, or the fake LeBron N-word on the door thing happen first?
I don't know.
I need to go back and look. There was never a police report for that N-word on the door. Never a police report, and never any proof of any kind.
Yep.
And not one person nobody said, "Oh, maybe that's not true."
If we go back to Uncut Hoops' video and the Carmelo Anthony soundbite, I'm going to expose myself. Maybe it was me being an insecure white guy, but when Carmelo said, this is our sport, and dropped the N-bomb, like, I almost felt like he was saying it was black people's sport, not American people's sport.
No, that's what he was saying, for sure.
That's what he was saying.
Okay, fucking white people started basketball.
Well,
Does he
he's
not know that?
stupid. He's dumb. He's dumb. It's like when you tell people Stan Lee had something to do with the Black Panthers. They're like, what do you mean? I don't understand. People don't grasp things. He meant exactly what Zay said. It's coded language. He just doesn't have the balls to come out and say it. I wish one of them would say, like, yo, no,
go ahead and say it,
fuck
man.
with black people. Like, I like, this is our sport, but no, it's left up to interpretation, AOH, for somebody like yourself who's white, because if you comment on it, AOH, if you happen to have anything to say negative about it, you're racist. That's what you will be told for the rest of your life.
It's also an easy way for me to take. So, I don't want to just jump on it, but it sounded like it. And I guess to be historically accurate, there's records of Mayans putting up baskets and playing basketball using human heads.
Right. I mean, listen, I think it goes back to what we were talking about. That's actually interesting. What we were talking about with these guys not knowing how to speak. When you listen to some of these guys speak as if they're on the block with their homeboys, and they're just talking slang, drinking some beers, shooting pool, or playing dice or playing dominoes or something. So they use this jargon like the N-word after they speak. I don't know why. To me, it's cringe as hell, man. But this is what they're saying. When you heard someone back in the day speak, when I heard Michael Jordan talk about the Americans, USA basketball versus the world, and he says this is our sport. He doesn't say this is our sport, you know what I mean, man? You know what I mean? Yeah, bro. He ain't saying like that. He's speaking as a true professional athlete. He's talking about the competition between the American players in America and the foreign players. Listen, when we talk about the foreign players versus American players, back in the day, the foreign players were known as soft. It had nothing to do with your skin color. You were just soft. The soccer players, European guys were known as soccer players, and soccer players were known for flopping. That's what they were known to do. It had nothing to do with what country you were from, and you could get beat up, and you guys never won a war, and blah, 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 blah. You were soft because of the sport you played and how we interpreted your sport and the way you guys went out there and carried yourself for that sport. But the Americans were known as what? Remember Charles Barkley? He was known as what? The angry, loud Americans. That's what we were known for. The attitude, the aggression, blue-collar attitude, a lot of pride. Y'all ain't going to come in here and take our sport. Y'all ain't going to come in here and kick our butt. Y'all ain't going to come in here and push us around. Nah, man, we're going to bring it to y'all because that's America. That's what we're known for, standing up for things. That's why everybody comes here, man, because we stand up supposedly and allow people to have the freedoms that these other countries won't allow them to have. That's why they come. Ain't got nothing to do with black and white. That's what we're supposed to be talking about. These guys don't know how to talk, man.
And Charles Barkley, who represented us poorly, the bad representative, you never would have heard him dropping the N-bomb and speaking that way. I'll take Charles Barkley representing the country a million times over.
Someone brought it up in the chat because I was thinking of Allen Iverson. You never hear him saying that. You never heard him saying that in an interview. And he would talk out the side of his mouth all the time. Even his super famous practice speech that everybody knows about, it was still spoken clearly and eloquently. But oh, damn it, Robin, what was I going to say? Oh, for all that American pride and all that, you know how just like the guy said, all right, we'll take these WNBA players or college players and have them go up against the number one boys high school in the world, whatever, blah, blah, blah. There have been numerous opportunities for the league to say USA versus the world or Europe versus the USA, whatever. And they have backed down from that since the Europeans, really came into prominence. They're not even touching that now. Could you imagine if you had Luka, Wemby, Giannis, all these guys on one side of the ball versus the American-born players? It wouldn't even be close. Well, I guess it depends on who the refs are. But if the game was played like basketball, it wouldn't even be close.
Yeah, and the reason why you would say that and why we think that is why? Because of the mentality and the shift in the mentality of the American players. Is what I'm talking about. Back in the day, I would put my money, like I tell people all the time, they try to make it seem as if the world caught up to us, right? So they want you to believe that if you dropped the 92 Dream Team in the Olympics today or in the summer that just passed, that they would struggle somehow. And what I'm here to tell you is that they're not going to struggle because they had the fundamentals, but they had the toughness, man. They're not going to get pushed around, no matter how much skill these guys might have.
See, I think the difference is, too, like today, players of before, there were emphasis on fundamentals. No matter if you played for a white coach or a black coach, you were being taught the same consistent way of playing basketball. These guys today, these AAU coaches, these guys who might be drug dealers, gang bangers, they starting teams and they're thinking that, okay, if I hand him some money, let's hand him some money, he'll play for me. It's become more about money because we've become so disenfranchised that we all we thinking about is playing for the money. We trying to get the money. We trying to take care of grandma. We trying to take care of mama, aunties, etc. That is what the difference is in today. And our players are suffering the lack of fundamentals of the game because we might be on the AAU team where we're the best player and all we doing is just chucking up shots the whole game. That's not really getting us better. That's showcasing us, showing that we can score, but we're not fundamentally gaining the fundamentals that we need.
We got a super chat. Mike didn't have a Kyrie who averaged 29 points per game in 2017, like LeBron. But they say Scotty saved Jordan. Man, I started a video and forgot all about it. Thanks for the reminder about how stupid it is to say. It's funny looking at the timeline of the Bulls and how long it took after Scotty showed up there for them to finally get to the finals, or for Scotty to even develop into an average player. But thank you, masculine.
You know what's funny? The LeBron James fans only know of Scottie Pippen's successes. They're only here to say that Scottie Pippen was so successful. He did all of this. But they don't want to talk to you about the failures. They don't want to talk to you about, in 1988, or 1989, where Scottie Pippen, got knocked out of the game with an elbow from Bill Laimbeer and never came back and only played 3 minutes in Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, right? They don't want to talk to you about the migraine game in Game 7 of the 1990 Eastern Conference Finals. They don't want to talk to you how Scottie Pippen fouled out in Game 3 of the 1991 NBA Finals with the Bulls down by 2 points with, a couple of seconds ago in the fourth quarter, Scottie Pippen fouled out. Michael Jordan never fouled out of an NBA Finals game and left Scottie Pippen there holding the bag. No, he never did that. So they never want to talk about, the failures and the fumbles and the bumbles and stumbles from Scottie Pippen. They just want to talk to you about all the times that Scottie Pippen was graded. He did X, Y, Z. Once again, but they never want to celebrate, like he said in his super chat, Kyrie Irving averaging not only 29 points a game in the 2017 NBA Finals, but in the 2016 NBA Finals, he averaged 27 points a game and outplayed the two-time MVP Steph Curry in those finals, and we all know he hit the game winner. Scottie Pippen never sniffed 27 points per game in an NBA Finals. Kyrie Irving has more 40-point games in the finals alongside LeBron James than Scottie Pippen has 30-point games in the finals alongside Michael Jordan, and he played in almost 3 times the amount of games.
What's really interesting about The Last Dance is that, yes, Michael Jordan had a lot of creative control on it. And Jordan included a lot of his dark moments and addressed them in it. But when I started ripping on Scotty, I called the series The Last Compliment because they gave Scotty a lot of credit in that film. I mean, a lot. And they pointed out a couple of things that he did wrong. And then Scotty was upset that he was portrayed badly. And I did a short on this. I'm like, what did Scotty think that the cameras and the microphones and the makeup crew and the release forms were about? Like, what the fuck do you think you answering questions about you sitting out when you...
He might have had other stuff on his mind, though, to be fair. He was losing his family at the time.
If you can't concentrate on the documentary crew at that moment, then you have some severe problems. Oh,
they were playing Future in the background.
He sounded like a hurt dog. Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
Thanos snapped feminism. People were upset that everyone, oh man, I can't believe that Michael Jordan pumped himself up in The Last Dance. These guys were like, you remember Horace Grant, Scottie Pippen, and Luke Longley? These guys went on like a tour with these guys, and they went around talking about The Last Dance. Like, I mean, come on, guys, you guys are kidding me, man. You guys know it was Michael Jordan and everybody else.
They went on a fucking player haters tour, man. They had a players hater ball to disrespect Michael Jordan in The Last Dance. The nerve of them.
Some of the Australians that watch my channel wrote in, they went to it and they were like, yeah, it wasn't all that. It was basically an expensive dinner. They didn't have anything to reveal. Yeah. Luke Longley never really talked shit, which which would have been weird. I didn't think that he would.
Yeah.
In fact, in that soundbite where what's his name tries to talk tough, this is how impactful he was. I'm forgetting his name. The rebounder for the Bulls. What's
Armstrong?
Huh?
Not Armstrong.
Who, Grant?
Grant. Fucking Horace Grant.
Horace Grant
was talking that he would manhandle Dennis Rodman. And Luke Longley says, I'd like to see that. So Luke Longley even called them out on their bullshit. Yeah. He's like, come on. You don't even know what you're saying.
See, once again, if you go back and you remember, you could go back now and watch the games between the Detroit Pistons, 88, 89, 1990, 1991. And what you'll see is a drastic shift over those 4 series between Horace Grant, Scottie Pippen, and the mentality versus the Detroit Pistons. And what you'll notice during those series is Michael Jordan's leadership, the big brother mentality that he had for those guys. He had to, once again, pick those guys up off the ground. I remember a play, and Horace Grant talked about this play, where he took an elbow. I can't remember who it was from. He took an elbow from one of the Detroit Pistons players in the 91 Eastern Conference Finals. And he was hurting really bad. You could tell he got the wind knocked out of him. And he looked like he was going to go down to a knee. And he looked like he maybe wanted to react a certain way. And Michael Jordan came over to him and picked him up and was like, hey, listen, don't let them see that you're hurting, man. Don't let them see that you got any weakness. We have to stand up to these guys. And Horace Grant talked about that. But then all of a sudden, these guys seem to forget that all of these years later, they act as if they were the ones out in front, as if they were the ones leading the Bulls. It was Michael Jordan, once again, who was the big brother, the enforcer for the Chicago Bulls.
See that right there?
Sorry, Zay, go ahead.
See, that right there would make me run through a wall for Michael Jordan, man. If he like, man, hey, stand your ass up. Hey, don't let them show that. Don't show them that you hurt.
Word.
Don't let them see that weakness in you. Hey, we coming right back. We delivering it right back on the back end. That's the type of players that you want to play for.
And that's what makes me so sad. It makes me really sad about today that kids are growing up not with somebody who says, hey, don't let them see that you're hurt. Now it's make sure everyone sees that you're hurt.
Word.
Well, not only that, AOH, I don't know if you remember, but LeBron's first week in LA, they have him mic'd up, and that's when he says all the important stuff. He said he had some speech about, if you fall down, just lay there. Your team will come back and pick you up, blah, blah, blah. And you know how it sounded like it was something out of like Blue Chips or Space Jam or whatever. He was saying these things as it's being recorded. Like 12 plays later, Kyle Kuzma gets decked out. LeBron walks right past him. It's so performative.
Yep.
Even the camaraderie is now performative because you're only saying it because you're mic'd up. So
these bonding handshakes that LeBron James has with teammates that he has no fucking relationship whatsoever with.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, but look at the LeBron James. He has a special handshake for everybody.
Yep.
And I think this goes far back as, do you remember when there was that famous GIF meme, whatever, where he was explaining some play to Austin Reeves and Austin Reeves looked real confused. And it was like this viral moment for like a year. I mentioned this in my last video. I think all that fake bullshit goes as far back as then. I don't think LeBron told him anything crazy or great. I think he said, make this stupid face. It's going to make me look smart, or that I'm telling you something really insightful. And Austin Reeves has been on some bitch shit ever since. Excuse my language. He's been on some beta shit ever since. He gets calls he's not supposed to. He has the arrogance and the courage of a player who to me he doesn't deserve. And he chirps so much for somebody that does not get teed up. So it goes as far back as then.
One thing I want to point out is I seen this in the comment section too. He was right. Man, Jordan made players household names. What player did LeBron make a household name? Somebody you like, oh man, let's go listen to Horace Grant. We go listen to Scotty. We're gonna go listen to Steve Kerr. We're gonna go listen to Ron Harper. We're gonna listen to certain guys. Where's the Matthew Dellavedova? Where's the Larry Hughes? Where's the Mo Williams? Where's the, you know what I'm saying? Where are these guys that LeBron turned into somebody that he supposedly made better? He made all these guys better physically on the court, mentally, blah, blah, blah. Where are they?
He did improve Kevin Love's ability to seek out mental health awareness. You got to give.
Oh man, I wanted to talk about Kevin Love earlier when we were talking about faces of the league and whatnot, and someone mentioned commercials. Kevin Love had a commercial when he was with the Timberwolves. I don't know if he had commercials after that. And I was like, who's this pretty white boy? But he was a great basketball player and he already had commercials. He could have been the face of the league. Instead, his career was destroyed by becoming one of LeBron James's scapegoats.
Yeah, he's talking about chunky Kevin Love, man. Before he went to Cleveland, and like you said, he got all pretty playing with LeBron James, man. Chunky Kevin Love in Minnesota, man. That dude was out there rebounding like an animal, knocking down three-point shots. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Kevin Love was a three-point champion when he went to when he was in Minnesota at All-Star Weekend. I'm not sure if I'm wrong. Anyone in the chat, you guys can check me out on that.
No, he did. He did. He was a walking double-double.
He was dunking like a monster too, though.
Yeah, he is a cautionary tale, and I don't mean to sound insensitive to mental health awareness because I'm a huge advocate for it, but he is a cautionary tale of playing with LeBron James. He went from fat and chubby and healthy and balling out to looking sickly, lack of sleep, seeking mental health, talking about how sad and depressed he was. And that's after he became a champion, by the way. So if that doesn't tell you what you need to know in terms of playing with him, I don't know what else to tell you. I mean, people will say, well, maybe he couldn't live up to the stress of playing with him, blah, blah, blah. Well, obviously he could because he got a ring with him. He was somehow managed to remain relevant with LeBron. And he was an all-time player before that. And now he's like sad and forlorn and he's sacrificing his body so people can say LeBron dunked on him in a game, even though it was just him getting out of the way. He is like a husk. He is like a shell of a man. And his peak was up there. Like he could have been like he and Chris Bosh could have been talked about in similar term had they never both played for LeBron James. And that's scary. I don't know what you know what I mean?
You know what's really sad, for someone like Kevin Love, and I've seen some people in the comments in the chat mention, like you mentioned, us being the mental health aspect, for Kevin Love. And, like I said, I don't want to hurt no one's feelings out here. Once again, when we talk about mental health and people's, well-being. But when we talk about LeBron James and playing alongside a superstar level player, and Speem, you talked about, the pressure of playing along someone like that. This is what the all-time great leaders, the all-time great leading superstar players do. They take the pressure off of these guys. That's what LeBron James is supposed to do. Now, he can't get inside Kevin Love's mind and help Kevin Love figure out his life or whatever's going on. Absolutely not, man. We all got to work our own demons out. But as far as taking the pressure off Kevin Love, LeBron James absolutely had control over that, and he never did that. And why didn't he do that? Because LeBron James' leadership is a passive-aggressive nature. So what does that do for you? What it does is it forces you to walk on eggshells. You don't know what you're doing. When you're out of the court with LeBron James, how does he do, or what does he do for his teammates that we always talk about? He forces them to fit around him. He won't make any sacrifice for Kevin Love. So that adds to Kevin Love's pressure. Now Kevin Love has to deal with that pressure. Oh my God, I got to mold my game. I got to stand on the three-point line now. I got to make these shots. I got to make sure I'm helping LeBron James this way. He's not fitting in the way that he needs to be fit in. LeBron James is not sacrificing, not taking that pressure off of him as a leader. And in turn, you have Kevin Love dealing with all kinds of issues that all of a sudden he didn't even realize he had, man.
Hey guys, forgive me while I do catch up with some super chats because I'm pretty.
Sorry, y'all. We got super chats to get to for sure. Go ahead.
These are going to be out of context because I'm so far behind. That's because those dudes had dads that was there. Okay, thank you, Badanana.
True.
Praise the Dan says it's always a bruh, nah, saying cuz on God type shit, bruh, nah,
Exactly.
nah, I mean, yeah, can't stand the way these clowns talk. Look, if you want to do that on your own, sure, but when you're trying to like make a huge statement for people to quote about, I mean, come on, word it. You can word it a little bit better. James Brickner, Jordan was the primary defender of Magic. We got to come back to that one. I'm going to leave that one up there. Wavy Thames says the NBA is full of divas, and he follows that with Curry humbled LeBron with those 3 rings he took. And Wavy Thames, he only made 27 players better out of 240. But let's go back to Jordan was the primary defender of Magic in 91. Watch the chat blow up. I would like to see the chat blow up because I did an episode on this. They blew that up in The Last Dance. Pippen was not the primary defender on Magic. They blew that up. They gave Scotty undue credit for that bullshit. That is not how it went down. They found a couple of plays, showed him, and Michael Jordan motherfucking came on camera and gave Scottie Pippen praise for what he did to Magic. Do not shit on Michael Jordan when he just fucking lied for your ass to make you look better than you were. Anyway,
well, I mean, wait, I just mentioned the 1991 NBA Finals, Game 3, did I not? I talked to you guys about the end of that game. In Game 3, the series is tied 1 game apiece, man. Scottie Pippen gets fouled on an N1 with Vlade Divac. Vlade Divac hit an N1. Scottie Pippen fouls out of the game and puts the Lakers up by 2 points with 9.4 seconds left. Scottie Pippen's out the game. So Michael Jordan hits the game time shot, of course, because that's what Michael Jordan does, right? And then he leads the Bulls to a victory over Magic Johnson. He shuts Magic Johnson and holds him to 0 points, 0 assists in overtime. And the Bulls win Game 3, go up 2 games to 1. The rest is history, man. So when we talk about, the 91 finals and Michael Jordan guarding Magic Johnson or Scottie Pippen, what the Bulls did was a strategic thing to mix and match Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen on Magic Johnson from certain times of the game. What I want a lot of people to understand, and let's once again give the credit where it belongs. Magic Johnson is an all-time great. When people try to make it seem as if Michael Jordan struggling guarding Magic Johnson or this or that, if he did or he didn't is irrelevant. He's Magic Johnson, damn it. So, of course, you're going to have a hard time guarding Magic Johnson, no matter who you are.
Amen.
You're killing them, man.
Yeah, I'm watching there's people got something to say about it. Hey, we could wrap this up. It was a pretty good episode. Appreciate you guys being here, unless you want to do your fanboy time at the end of the day.
Oh, fanboys, where are you?
You gonna take on fanboys without any sleep, Zay?
Oh yeah, fanboys, come on in here. Let's see you explain what happened last night. Does any fanboy want to explain this belt to ass? Where are you?
By the way, we do get one that calls in, or at least he called in the last 2 weeks. I forget his name. I don't know if he's in the
Tyrese.
chat. What is it?
Tyson.
Yeah. He's always pretty good to go back and forth with. I didn't see him in there though.
Well, I told him to go watch my video about the 2007 finals, and if he did that, he may have not recovered.
You might have a change of heart.
D with Julius Erving is the GOAT. Jordan only in the debate because his fans were on crack. That's a weird That's a weird one.
That's
Wait, can
hilarious.
you
Listen, I got
can you
Dr. J
repeat
in my
that?
top 10. If it wasn't for Dr. J, we'd have no Michael Jordan. If it wasn't for Elgin Baylor, we'd have no Dr. J. Shout out to Dr. J, man, and the icon. To me, he's a Mount Rushmore player, but I don't know how he can say that Jordan's only in the debate because the fans are on crack. See, once again, whenever you doggone like that, I think you're a LeBron James fan disguising yourself as a Dr. J fan. There's no real Dr. J fan that talks like that.
That's a fact, man. Jordan just did things it's just not heard of. You know what I mean? Video game like shit.
LeBron sitting out these last couple of weeks was great timing for me because I needed to work on other things. But I did say when I saw the Lakers starting to win, I was like, can't wait for LeBron to come back and fuck all that up. And what did he do?
Right on time.
Against the Bulls. Come on.
They look like the 96 Bulls last night.
And I wasn't wrong. Luka had over 30, right?
No, Luka had 29 at half, finished the game with 34.
That's insane.
What happened?
He watched Space Jam 2 at halftime.
You see why you don't bet on
out there.
We got a caller. It's Wavy Thames.
Yo,
what up?
What up?
Y'all can hear me?
Oh shit! I see Dallas waiting there too. My bad. Sorry, I'm new to this interface. Wavy, speak.
What's going on, y'all? Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, what's good?
Go ahead.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you underwater.
What a beating last night, huh? That 145, huh? Nah. My thing is, man, like whoever's saying that Jordan fans is crackheads, man, y'all dudes on that mess, man. Y'all dudes is on that mess, man. Especially if you jacking all that LeBron Lakers stuff, man, you definitely on mess, man. Too many tangibles. Yeah.
Is there any chance that he meant that Dr. J's fans were on crack so they didn't support him properly? No, Jay was before crack. That would have been cocaine. Dr. J came before crack.
That whole era that was full of them when they was balling. No complaints or nothing. Now my own
That would be a weirdly specific complaint too.
Dallas.
Yo.
Dallas, you're on.
What up, fellas? How y'all doing today?
What's good, Dallas? What's good?
What up?
Not much. I'm gonna be real quick. This is in defense of MJ because I still think MJ is kind of underrated because he was so great in the time that he played. But I think it's telling that every time someone breaks a significant record, you see his name on the screen. So even as great as SGA has been, when they put his name on the screen against the great Michael Jordan, name always comes up. And I asked LeBron fans, why does LeBron name never comes up when you have these fantastic stats like whole playoffs, 40 points in 6 consecutive games? He's never on those lists. In nowhere, assists, rebounds, it may be cumulative, but it's never like a single season. It's never anything that's just really like crazy. Like Jordan hits you with the crazy shit, like finals where he got not a fake average 40 a game, an actual I'm gonna score 40 every game in this finals. Yep. You know what I mean? So with Michael, it's kind of like he was so great that he almost doesn't get credit. Like doesn't get credit for being a good rebounder, doesn't get credit for being a great defender. You know, even a great passer, just a complete all-around ball player. And then on top of that, it goes to show his greatness was elevated by the people that he played with. He had to be that great to beat Detroit, beat Boston, beat Magic. Like that's how good Dr. J, that's how good those guys were. Like you couldn't come in as an individual scorer, one-dimensional player and beat those teams. Because they just didn't give you easy ways out. Like today, teams keep you in the game because no matter what, they're gonna keep shooting threes, even if they're up by 25. Whereas back then, if you're up by 10 and you got 8 minutes to go, you're probably not gonna beat an 85 Boston Celtics team or an 80s Lakers. Any one of those teams, they're not losing that lead. They don't care if the fans watching are bored. They don't care. We're gonna win this game, whether we just pass to the big man and just live off that for the rest of the game. So I say all that to say those are the things that when you talk about MJ and people forget, they think they know, but it's like, nah, this dude was really like that. He was really that guy. Like it was. That's why the NBA is still suffering, because they keep trying to find a guy that has all of those elements, and it's just you're just not gonna get it. You just got to be okay with what you got and see what happens. See what that develops into.
I mean,
But
I've talked about how much. Thanks, Dallas. I've
No
talked
problem.
about how much The Last Dance actually left out. You know, it was a pretty balanced. People were like, "Oh, it's a Jordan," you know, celebrating himself. It was pretty balanced. It told a well-rounded story, and Jordan's had so many insanely incredible moments throughout his career that they left out. You could have a second or a third Last Dance series. So, you know, if people think that this was a just to show my good moments, well, that's just not true at all.
Well,
You know,
also,
go ahead, Speed.
Real quick. Shout out to the Homestead Grays Dallas. That hat is dope. For starters, what you're describing sounds a lot to me like how, if you're a comic book fan, the MCU, when it first hit the scene, they organically brought all these characters together over the course of 10 years, right? And then next thing you know, you have Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, if you're a film fan. And those movies were great. They sold great because they were made organically, right? But then if you go to DC and you see how they do things, right? They try to force an Aquaman movie on you, force a Justice League movie on you, force all these characters on you in a non-organic way, you're going to get products that might be less. I think that kind of seems to me like what you're describing. They're trying so hard to force this action that it has no chance of ever forming, because it's never going to happen. Like, it's never going to organically happen. So I always liken that to like the MCU versus DC, whereas Infinity War and Endgame, everyone seems to love because they grew with those characters. They grew with those storylines over the course of a decade and more, versus this kind of just thing being shoved down our throat.
Man, that was a great. I mean, I know y'all doing the show. I got to respond to that though, but that was a great analogy, Speed. I mean, that's right. That's exactly what it is. And for me, it's frustrating because it's like, I think just fans in general of 90s and 80s sports, I think that was the thing that has us here today so excited about that era, because everything was able to grow organically. You saw guys' rise, like you didn't mind it. You didn't mind if they didn't win every year. You know, you were happy to see them try to get there. And then, you know, certain teams that beat them, you didn't like. I didn't mind Detroit win the championship because I watched Detroit Pistons rise when they were trying to beat Boston. So that was cool to me. So when Michael got his chance, I was happy to see that. I was happy to see Hakeem Olajuwon. Now it's like everybody, it's like if a guy doesn't win, he got to leave, he got to go somewhere, and then you just lose that whole story. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if Kawhi stays in San Antonio. You know what I mean? Goes through the up and downs of the injury, then come back, and then they're competitive again, and he gets a win, and they start winning. I mean, that story would be amazing. Same for all of the players, Harden, all these guys. But because we don't get that growth organically, like you said, it becomes forced down our throat. Like right now, I think SGA, if SGA don't win this year, it's going to automatically almost be like he needs to go somewhere else. They're going to already start trying to change that win. It may take OKC a good 4 years to just build that roster perfectly where they just win, consistently winning championships. So, but yeah, I ain't going to talk y'all guys' head off. I'm going to sit back and check y'all out.
Appreciate it, Dallas. Good to hear from you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I wanted to touch on what Dallas said and related to something that Zay said before when he brought up how Michael Jordan made players household names. What Dallas was talking about was he's talking about how he still thinks that Michael Jordan is really kind of underrated, kind of underappreciated. And I think when you think about the impact and you think about, like I said, what Zay meant about household names, I was listening to a clip of Vernon Maxwell the other day I saw on social media. And Vernon Maxwell was talking, and I did a video, and I talked about this in the video, or I talked about this on my live the other day. Vernon Maxwell was talking about how, like, you know, he didn't really have to worry about getting a good night's sleep for any other player but Michael Jordan. And he said that, like, man, listen, I'm going to try to make sure I get a good night's sleep when Michael Jordan's coming into town because, you know, I know Michael Jordan's going to bring it, you know, and I got to be ready to bring my A game because he knows Michael Jordan's going to bring his A game. And what he's alluding to and what he's highlighting is the standard that Michael Jordan held himself himself to, which in turn held Vernon Maxwell to a standard. My man was worried about it the next day. Like, I got to play Michael Jordan. So I'm going to hold myself to a higher standard this night because I got to play that guy. And I know he's going to hold himself to that standard. When you talk about making guys household names, Zay, think about the guys that went against Michael Jordan. You remember these guys. You know who they are. You know John Starks. Why? Not because John Stark was some great all-time great Hall of Famer, because he was battling against Michael Jordan. He made John Starks a household name, man. All these other guys, Gerald Wilkins was known as the Jordan Stopper. He was a household name because he was Gerald Wilkins, because he was going against Michael Jordan. All of these guys, Reggie Miller, Clyde Drexler, they all benefited from going at Michael Jordan, going against him. The standard that he held was once again impacted all the other guys in the league, man.
Let me shout out Wavy Thames. He says, I've seen an old Jordan lock down Vince Carter. And McZuggins, who brought some great data for us earlier in the show. MJ went 82 games in 9 out of 13 full seasons. Iron Man, LeBron James, 1 out of 20. Just putting that out there.
Yeah. I mean, LeBron's sitting in and out of games whenever he wants to, dancing on the sidelines and then resting. And he's that whole Iron Man and defeating Father Time bullshit was going on at the exact same time that guy was load managing like nobody's business.
You can go back and look on social media and find all the posts that congratulated him for playing all 82 also.
And we must also remember the effort that Michael Jordan's giving on the basketball court, the effort that Larry Bird gave on the court, the effort that Jerry West, the effort that Bill Russell gave, the effort that we saw Kobe Bryant give on the court is much different than the effort that we see LeBron James give out there on the court, man, for the minutes that he's out there in the game.
You guys,
those are just garbage men goofs, Robin. You know that.
You guys want to take more callers?
I was going to ask you how long you plan on this thing going.
I got to go pretty quick.
Yeah, I got to roll soon.
All right, Ben, you'll be the last caller then.
All right, how you guys doing today?
Yo,
hello,
what's
sir.
Up?
What up, Ben?
What's on your mind?
Can I ask a couple of questions? What do you guys think about the college players coming up today in the future when we have the next 5 to 10 years?
You mean? Yeah, I mean, my opinion on the college players is I think that a lot of these guys should stay in the league, stay in college and play 3-4 years. You know, develop, learn some of the fundamentals, learn some of the team game. And like I said, hopefully that will help improve the overall game, man.
Yeah, because I think that's what a lot of people don't talk about is the one and done rule. I think that is doing more harm than anything because, they go 1 year and then I don't know who the player is. If you look at it, some casual fan will look at it and say, how would I know this person's ready? Like Durant is 1 year. He went, I remember when I was watching, when I was 19 years old, that he goes, well, no wonder why he's that way. No wonder why they give us bad instance and they don't fight for nothing. That's why. And that's what I just wanted to say.
Cool. Appreciate it. Thanks for calling in.
No, you're right, man. You're right.
It's a good point. They don't have to earn anything, especially with them getting what are those contracts called now? The
guaranteed?
No, like the ones in college where they can make money off their likeness or whatever. Like Angel Reese made like $1 million.
NIL?
Yeah, NIL, especially now that they have these NIL deals. It's gonna get real funny out there.
I mean, sure. I mean, listen, we mentioned Larry Bird and Tim Duncan earlier in the impact that they had immediately when they came into the NBA. And we talked about them coming into the NBA older by, going to college for 4 years and not coming in after 1 year. So absolutely, these guys develop. I mean, even Michael Jordan went to college for 3 years, man.
3 years. We got a last super chat from a fanboy named D. He said, I love you, glorious king, my Iron Man. Oh, fanboy. Call in, D, man.
They got to be joking when they put something like that.
Yeah.
Come confess your love. Come confess your love for your king.
That's funny, man.
Hey, listen, but before we go, the biggest telling sign is, we bring this up every week, how many LeBron James sneakers do you ever see in public? How many LeBron James jerseys do you ever see in public? How many now? Okay, equate that to how many Jordans? Exactly right. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be polite. And now, how many Jordan jerseys do you still see? How many Jordan sneakers do you still see? By the way, the Jordan symbol's on the NBA uniforms now, not LeBron's dumb dunk man symbol. It's like the people will tell you the truth no matter what. When you go outside, you will see the truth. But if you just sit and look at a computer screen and read and listen to Nick Wright and Shannon Sharp and these guys, yeah, you might believe that. But look outside. You will see more Steph Curry Under Armour sneakers than you will see LeBron James sneakers. You will see more Kevin Durant. You will see more Kyrie Irving. Insert player here. What more do you need to know?
You know how I know that's true, because if I was going out and seeing LeBron James jerseys everywhere, I'd be like a really irritated, grouchy old man. I mean, now that you mention it, I don't see them, and thank God.
Right.
Thank God. I'd be a fucking prick to be around if I was looking left and right and seeing LeBron James jerseys everywhere. Thank God. It's really not happening.
Hey, shout out to Millhouse Nevermind for the honcho. Big honcho. Basketball in the NBA is dead. We still love the game. We do love the game.
That's
nice.
It's
so hard to watch. One thing I want to say is that your shoes ain't shit when nobody is bootlegging them. Right. You can go into any corner store right now and find Jordans in the store. They might not be real, but you gonna find Jordans at the local corner store. You don't even see homeless men wearing LeBron. You see homeless men in Jordans. Like that. Where he get them at?
I can't be seen wearing those. I can't be out here wearing those. That's what
I appreciate every super chat. That is check. I don't want you thinking that's $4.30. It's not $100. Say, in case you
still appreciate it. Still appreciate it.
I do appreciate it. Basketball in NBA is dead, and we still love the game. And that's it. That's the problem. We love the game of basketball. What we're watching out there in the NBA is not basketball. It's not still consistent basketball. It's a lot of weird stuff.
Gentlemen, it was a pleasure.
How much is that in USD?
$4.30.
$4.30.
Oh, thank you, man. I seen that 100.
It don't matter what it is, man. Much respect to all you guys, man, that send us the super chats, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
it is appreciated.
Oh, wait. Speam, you got one from Dallas. What's your favorite Jordan to play in?
He only wears them around his neck. He doesn't play.
No, that's not true. No, when I play in them, I still play in them. I play in 13s.
What's your answer?
I play in 13s, actually. 13s, 29s, and 33s.
Yo, I want everybody to think about it for a second. I want everybody to think about this. Michael Jordan played basketball at that level in Michael Jordan sneakers. Think about that. It ain't easy to play in Air Jordan 1s or 2s or 3s. This man was bolder than them joints.
Yo, this is one giant piece of canvas. Can you imagine an athlete running up and down the court in the not even the prime of his career, because he's still early. There's nothing to this but cloth and sole. You know what I mean? Like, it hurts walking in these. So I can't even imagine him playing. Like, man, that's such a good point.
No, remember Jordan said that his feet were bleeding when he wore the original Jordans in his last game for the Bulls in MSG. After he finished that game, they were bleeding his feet, he said.
B-Man, thank you for the super chat. I am just proud of you fellas for speaking the truth like you do. You guys are amazing, and I can't wait till you are all mainstream. God bless.
Word.
We're going to have to, society's going to have to soften up and allow me to do my Jackie Moon look to going mainstream. We got too many sensitive people out there that think that
I'm only half black, but you have 100% of my permission to wear that afro, sir.
It's not a see. People understand that curly hair comes on people who are not African. It's not an afro. It's just
it's appropriate. You're racist.
It's an afro.
It's appropriation to me. Cultural appropriation.
You got a brawny afro right now.
Yeah.
You guys are
no,
funny,
but the
man.
sides aren't shaved.
I'm fucking with you.
Yeah, we need to end this thing. I'm not.
Okay, yeah, I gotta get to
the
it.
afternoon.
Yeah,
talking
no,
about
for
your-
real, man. Yo, shout
Yeah.
out to everybody in the chat, man. Once again, man, I am truly humble, man. We always appreciate your guys' support, man. You guys always come through on the Sunday show. So once again, Speam, it was a pleasure as usual. Zay, man, keep doing your thing, man. Good luck on your latest video out there, belt to ass. I see you doing your thing, man. And shout out once again to my man, the Czar, the video footage, AOH, man. Thank you for holding it down for us today as usual, man. Thank you very much, guys. I'll catch you guys on the next one, man.
Yep, and we'll be looking forward to your video today, Zay.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Thank you, Speam. Thank you, Sports and Fitness Rants. Thank you, AOH, for having me on. I appreciate y'all. Hey, chat, thank you for supporting us, showing us love, locking in with us. Fanboys, thank you for watching too, because we need you in here too. Fanboys, I don't never disrespect y'all like that. I appreciate y'all coming to the channel and getting converted. But
and if anyone's channel is not monetized, like Steam Engine, hit up their Cash App. You got the Cash App, right?
It's just mine. You don't have to make me feel shit about it. It's just mine. I'll put my Cash App in here. I'm the only non-monetized channel.
All right.
Yo, shout out to Jim and Uncut Hoops and Dreamers Pro and Jordan versus LeBron, Go Cast Hoops. Everybody came through, man. Showed us love, man.
All right, everybody. Happy Sunday. We're out.
Appreciate y'all.
all right.